outside and you can see my messy clothes. And we'll see when we need to turn on the lights. I've had my own tech difficulties. Couldn't do that. Girl, it's 9 p.m. right now. Almost 10. Well, over here, it's like 5 p.m. I'm sorry. If you need to sleep, then you can go to sleep. You don't have to stay here. I'm not going to be yelling at you like I was yelling at you last time, but if you need to sleep, please go sleep. I'm not going to be keeping anyone up, okay? I just got out of school. Perfect timing. Um, I have a monster. Guess why? Because the name of this chapter is Cold Brew Coffee Spiked with Monster. Artie is in yeah, oh yeah, I'm in Eastern time. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm in New York. Red is the only reason I sleep, and we love Red for that. But you should be getting your sleep. Anyways, this chapter is called Cold Brew Coffee Spiked with Monster. I have my cold brew and I have my monster, and I'm not going to be drinking all of it because I want to be able to sleep because I have tech tomorrow. I read this live on a space and it took me like 2 hours. My voice hurt like hell. It's probably gonna take me a little bit longer because I can usually go through like around 5,000 words per hour. Hi Zen. Okay. Hi Tegan. Tegan on the YouTube. Hey. Perfect. So this is chapter 12. You got water and I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay. I'm just gonna get started probably. I don't have anything to say. I'm just excited. I saw one minor spoiler for this chapter. And by minor, I mean like minor. I do not know what happens in this chapter. Is Candy Floss the little backpack one? That's the art of spoiling pretty girls. That's the art of spoiling pretty girls. That's the one I do with Reef. Give me that Candy Floss is Jamie's sugar mommy fic. I miss the art of spoiling pretty girls. Hopefully soon. Hopefully when Reef and I can do it together. But yeah, we're doing Give Me That Candy Floss today. Chapter summary. One small cold brew. I made that strong as fuck. Oh no. I made that so strong. Oh. Oh, that's bitter as hell. Oh no. It's fine. You know what? That's gonna keep me from drinking it, so that's a good thing. One small cold brew, one can of Monster, three-fourths tablespoon of love, a dash of insecurities. Adding these in, adding the materials. Are you okay? Am I ever okay, y'all? Am I ever okay? I don't think I'm okay. I'm gonna taste. Should I taste the monster right now or should I wait until the mention comes? It's okay. I'm not okay either. Are any of us okay? From your TikTok, I'd say no. The TikTok where I die, is that the one you're talking about? Or another one? Now, monster now. I think I'm gonna wait, Cade. I think I'm gonna wait, actually. That coffee was a lot. Yes, the one where you die. So the person responsible for that is in the chat right now, so you can scream at him. You can scream at Cade right now. Apparently, all of the Bronx is off limits. And everyone there is dead, but then they came back to life. Because this fandom is like whatever fucking happens in this in this fandom. Oh, this is the Minecraft. Yeah, this is the Minecraft server one. I don't know. Probably Artie would know nothing. Don't ask me. Cade, I'm not gonna get into this with you. Don't die, Artie. I'm fine. Hi and bye. Hope you have a great stream, and I'll be back to watch later. Bye, Sam. Okay, notes. So I lied from last chapter. You don't get the lockets reveal in this chapter because I split up the chapter. Whoopsies. That's good for me because Jamie was originally going to have this chapter be like 30,000 words. And I'm like, Jamie, I can't do that. Jamie, I can't do that. I did that once for the super long Two's Company stream, but I died. So I'm glad that he actually split the chapter. Anyways, good news, you still get 22,000 of 22k of polytricks bouncing a brain cell. You can breathe. It doesn't go downhill till next week. I mean what? What is Jamie planning? What is Jamie planning? I love that. I love that Jamie was like, please click here for the NSFW tags in this chapter. Just kidding. There's no smut yet. Lol. The restraint is sexier. I love quoting Jamie on that. The restraint is sexier. I mean, and they're right. Jamie is planning our demise. I'm going to say this right now. Do I have anything going on next Saturday? I might not. Guys, if I don't have anything going on, hi Danny. Oh my god, hi Danny. If I don't have anything going on next Saturday, I might do like a late night reading of chapter 13 on Friday, like 11 p.m. Eastern, right when it releases. Because I have no, wait. Wait, no. Wait. I have work. I have work on Friday, and I'm probably getting home at like 11:30ish. But I might do a late night one if anyone would be interested. That might be a little crazy, and I might go cuckoo crazy, but it might also be fun. Let's get started, y'all. Do it, do it. I would. Let's get started. Coming down to California has always been Mira's favorite time of the week. Sometimes she gets to fly out 3 times in a week. Sometimes it's only one. The carbon output of Mira is sickening. Mira's carbon output is sickening, and rich people should die. But it's fine because it's Mira. I forgive. Sometimes she gets to fly out 3 times a week. Sometimes it's only one. But she always, oh my god, I have wings now. But she always makes sure to come and see Zoe's beautiful smile at least once a week. She's convinced that she would shrivel up and die on the spot if she doesn't get one of Zoe's hugs at least once every 7 days. Go off, Queen, pollute the air. It's so dire. And this week, almost exactly 1 week since she'd been here with Rumi of all people. And ever since they heard that Mira manages to snag a free weekend to see her. Oh, so we're just passing through that. We're not even doing the day after. We're not doing the morning after. We're just like, it's been 1 week. Deal with it. Imagine what happens in your own little minds. Yeah, just pass it by. It's okay. We're not gonna talk about it. Mira pulls the bill of her cap further up her forehead and squints into the sunlight. Zoe should be somewhere down the street, according to their texts and live locations. It's usually not this difficult to find each other. Zoe sticks out like a sore thumb in a crowd, but she wouldn't necessarily call that a bad thing. Mira checks her phone one more time with a thin frown. She considers calling Zoe to pinpoint her better, but then she spots a head bobbing in the corner with a neon orange bucket hat. She exhales with a laugh. She can't believe she missed that, of all things. Zoe turns around, wired earphones still in her ears. Who still uses wired earphones? Some people are poor, Mira. Some people are poor and they don't use the money of their sugar mommies. Eyes scanning the street in front of her while she bobs her head to the song she's listening to. Mira holds up her hand and waves. Zoe's eyes lock onto hers, and she beams. Mira's heart flutters. This has always been one of her favorite parts of seeing Zoe. Seeing Zoe smile like that when she sees her will never, ever get old. Zoe rips the earphones out of her ears and runs up to her at full speed. Mira holds out her arms to catch her, just as she always does. They almost topple over, but Zoe knows where her jump and run speed limit is, and Mira has been doubling her efforts in the gym to make sure she can keep catching Zoe like this. How do you always look taller whenever I see you? Zoe exclaims, a little breathlessly. It gets Mira a little breathless herself. Easy. I take my height vitamins, Mira says casually, jostling Zoe in her arms. She doesn't really need to, but Zoe's stuck around her midsection, her unnaturally strong legs wrapped around Mira's waist like a vice. Some people stare at them as they pass, but Mira just gives them light glare, piece of her hair behind her ear. This is usually the part where she sets Zoe down and complains to her a little about getting her back sore, but she can't find it in her. Zoe's being too cute and she's missed her so much. And the light shame, the guilt of getting off to that last week presses against her chest so hard that her knees nearly collapse from under her. Yeah, I guess we are talking about it. I guess we are having little I guess we are talking about it. Hi, Rome's. Oh, are you hungry? Zoe asks, squishing her cheeks between her hands. Zoe's favorite habit with her. Mira doesn't mind, but she's pretended to bite off her fingers before as a warning. You're probably hungry. There's a great brunch place nearby, and Mira shakes her head, shoulders shaking with her laughter. I ate on the plane, pretty girl. Zoe squeaks in high-pitched offense, predictable in every way. Mira loves it. What do they even serve to you while you're up there? She muses as she slowly clambers off of Mira's beanpole body. Mira almost whines about it. Does it taste as good as when you're not in the air? I remember I flew to New York when I was like 7 with my parents. All I remember was that my ears kept popping and that I hated the food. Mira shrugs. They're walking down the street now, and Zoe latches onto her upper arm only seconds later. They're used to holding on to each other while they walk down the California streets. It started as a buddy system safety thing in case one of them got lost, and now it's just habit. A good habit, if Mira has anything to say about it. Mira thinks for a moment, and she answers, I don't really care about the food I eat when I'm flying, if that's what you're asking. I have personal chefs who make me balanced meals every single day, and they accommodate whatever I'm craving, but I usually don't crave things that often. When you're nutritionally balanced, you don't really have cravings. One day, one day. I am not there right now. Wow, no need to flex in front of the girl who ate instant ramen the other day, Zoe grumbles. That gets a chuckle out of Mira. What happened to the food delivery account that I gave to you the other day? I told you that you didn't have to worry about spending too much on it. She scolds lightly. You can't just tell me that, Zoe exclaims, and her pout pulls a laugh out of Mira. Food's expensive. Food delivery fees are hella expensive. What if every other reason that Zoe rambles off makes Mira chuckle some more under her breath? But she can't actually admit to Zoe that the food delivery account that she made for Zoe doesn't have a limit because she just linked her limitless credit card to it. Its dollars would even dent her bank account. I hate rich people. In fact, buy herself 2 measly cheeseburgers, tripled the food quantity. But maybe Zoe will get there someday. Maybe then she could dip Zoe's toes into thinking about letting her get. When will someone do that for money is paper, Samira. Um, it's a private chef and a nutritionist. This girl, this girl whose parents were like getting on her ass about eating healthy, and I'm like, I'm lazy and I'm working all the time. But that's something for her to plot out methodically another day. Right now, she just wants to spend time with Zoe. Oh, if you're not hungry, do you mind if we stop to get some boba? Zoe asks her, looking up with those pouty puppy eyes that she knows get to Mira every time. It's not like she even needs to use them. I was going to get some while I waited for you to get here, but I thought you'd like to have some too. Aren't you the sweetest, Zumi? Mira says with a chuckle. But yeah, sure, I'll pay for it, she almost finishes, but Zoe already has a fist held out to her. Mira sighs and rolls her eyes with faux annoyance. She obliges Zoe anyway into a best 2 out of 3 game of rock paper scissors while walking down. It's the best way they can settle who gets to pay. Otherwise, it would be complete pandemonium. And besides, Mira hired the best rock, paper, scissors player in the world to teach her the best tips and tricks to win her rounds against Zoe. It's worked so far. That's so beautifully random. That's incredible. She presses her lips together to keep from smiling while Zoe groans and whines about. Mira teases, maybe you just have bad ribs with a grumble. She lets Zoe win some way to keep her from getting too suspicious about her winnings, her from being too sulky. Plus, Zoe's smile in exchange for buying them a $3 soda from the vending machine is always a perk. The boba tea shop is empty when they order, so their orders are taking mango popping pearls for Mira and nice 100% sugar for Mira and 200 for Zoe. Zoe always picks something different each time she comes in, and Mira loves to leech off of her and take big sips, even when Zoe whines and bats her away after the second large gulp. It makes her laugh every time. They sit in the corner where people can't bother them. There aren't many people in the shop anyway, besides the 2 workers and a couple on the other side of the room, so Mira isn't too worried. Still, she makes sure Zoe sits in the booth, and she takes the rickety old chair across from her. Her voiced reasoning is that people wouldn't recognize her with her back turned, but she wants to make sure Zoe has somewhere nice to sit today. Who cares if she's the one who had the 12-hour flight? Zoe deserves the best of everything. Also, you are on a private jet. It's you'll be fine, Mira. So, how have your classes been? Mira asks casually, one arm draped over the back of her chair as she sips at her drink. You were telling me about some drama that happened in your black and white photography class. You remembered? Zoe gushes. She curls around as she continues. Well, drama. It was just weird drama. You know what I mean? There was this guy in the dark room that started an argument with his partner because we have to handle the chemicals in pairs, you know? And I swear to God, I almost dunked their head because I really want to finish developing my photos in peace. Do you like it? Mira asks curiously. Zoe tilts her head at her in question, and Mira clarifies. Your class, Mudengo. Mudengo, is that how you read it? Meodango? I don't know what language that is. Let me look it up. This is always the trouble with candy floss. I'm like, Jamie is just gonna make me read stuff in languages I don't understand. Portuguese. Um, Playf refers to playfulness and mischievous behavior. That's very sweet. That's very, very sweet. Aw. Okay, cool. Zoe squeaks, and Mira tries to hide her smile. She fails. Physical film. Zoe bobs her head up and down enthusiastically while she sips. Then she declares, "Oh, definitely. Cameras are too expensive of a hobby for someone like me." Mira notes that down in the back of her mind so quickly that it feels like second nature. But the few times that I get to work with cameras for an elective class or two, or two for an elective class or two, scratch that itch enough. I got to play around with a Kodak 3378 last year, which was fun. The film's actually for sound recording, fun fact, but a lot of experimental artists like to take video on it for that really contrasty look. And I remember that I was like, Mira leans forward on the table and sets her boba tea down. She props her chin in her hand and hums along to Zoe's ramblings. She can feel the smile on her face, sitting there as easily as a leaf would on the surface of a pond. She loves it whenever Zoe goes on these tangents. She loves watching Zoe go on, hands waving and sparkly eyes darting around. Does she understand half of what Zoe is saying? Absolutely not. But she knows that Zoe likes to talk her ear off about these things, and that's all that matters to her. Zoe is walking sunshine and a love letter. Who wouldn't be drawn to that? Who wouldn't want to pore over every little thing that she has to say? She wonders if Zoe knows that she doesn't take these trips to California as respite from her modeling shoots and from her family. She comes here purely to hear Zoe ramble like this. Her beautiful, babbly Zoe. She suddenly remembers the way Zoe whined into the phone. She remembers the silence that followed and the way that her chest tightened to keep Zoe from hearing her breathe. Oh, God. Well, I guess we're gonna have to say this because we're not on Discord today. Oh, she remembers the way Zoe whispered, "Fuck me." Jamie, when I get you, Jamie, you said there was no spot. You said there was no spot. Anyways, this live is age restricted, by the way, but I know there's some children in here. I know there's some children in here. I mean, I should have predicted. I should have predicted that they would be talking about it and they would have like. Anyways, if you are of age and you haven't listened to Rose's recording of that part, go to Twitter right now. If you are 18 plus, I'm so serious. It's all about interpretation. Oh my god, what are you guys saying? In front of my Maltesers? Oh my god. Oh. Rose's recording is insane. Like it's like I saw that the day after I read it on stream, even though like Rose recorded it right that night, and I was like, I woke up to this. Hey Squid, hey Danny. Oh, anyways, I think we will survive this stream without needing Discord as long as I don't think TikTok will kick me out for like the small things. I'm just like, okay, so I have to read that. I just had to read that. Jamie, when I get you, Jamie. Mira grabs her boba tea so viciously that it squeezes a little in her hand. She sips at it ardently, and Zoe stops midway through her ramblings about Bolex cameras and how hard they were to reroll to comment, "Oh, wow, you're really thirsty after that flight, huh?" You don't even know, Zoe. Mira coughs lightly into her drink, but she gulps it all the way down, even when it hurts. You could say that, she wheezes. Zoe laughs, and she reaches over to pat the back of Mira's hand. She smiles, and the boba pearl stuck in Mira's throat goes down. Mira's always been a light sleeper. The one thing that her parents have always praised her about is how easy she would go back to sleep as a baby. Flights, trains, and shoots in between have never been a problem to her. Rumi used to whine about how jealous she was, and now Zoe does too. But it's been hard to sleep recently. Closing her eyes at night meant remembering how Zoe sounded. Sure, they told Zoe during an awkward conversation during their redeeming Minecraft game a couple days before, but she's still keeping the other secret, the perverted secret, and the one that she's been keeping for months, with yellowed letters hiding under her bed. Would Zoe still smile at her this wide if she knew that she's Mira's old friend and that Mira had gotten off to her like a teenage boy with a Playboy magazine? Mira needs to pull it together before she explodes on the spot. She could have crises another time when she doesn't have Zoe by her side. But enough about me, Zoe says offhandedly, as she does every single time she finishes her tangents. She sets her mostly drained boba tea down on the table with finality and she asks, "What about you? Had any interesting shoots recently? Has your family been any bitchier recently?" The honest tone in Zoe's voice makes Mira snort despite herself. At least she wasn't chugging her boba tea again. She would have actually choked that time. She's still not used to that, having someone on her side. It's new, but she likes it. Just a graph campaign, Mira says breezily. Just are making fun of me again. I'm going to send you the gift basket they sent me with their jewelry. Mira deadpans. That gets Zoe to clamp her mouth shut. She sips at her drink to hide her smile. Zoe doesn't seriously think that she won't do it, does she? One of these days, she's gonna get Zoe to finally use that Cartier gift card she got her a while back. Maybe with the Graph gift card, she can pretend that Zoe won it for being such a good streamer. If she remembers right, Zoe has almost 1 million followers on Honmoon. That's crazy. Anyway, and she's still broke. Sorry, and she's still broke. You have 1 million followers? Girl, please. Broke out. Mira relaxes against her chair and looks at the painting behind Zoe's head, thinking. She can't think if she's looking at Zoe. That would just cause all of her thoughts to disappear, and all she'd be thinking about is Zoe's freckles and how adorable she looks and how much she wants to buy an egg waffle to feed to her. And Christ, she needs to reel it in before she scares Zoe away. It wouldn't be the first time she scared someone away. Why do you need to say that? Why do you need to say that right now? Whoa. Oh, I got a list of songs I can't listen to. She's from the US, so Zoe has to pay for college and medical bills. That's true. She's still got that poverty mindset. That just does make a lot of sense, actually. That does make a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, yeah. And my family's just been the same as usual, Mira says with a roll of the eyes. Hopefully, Zoe doesn't notice the way that she's squeezing her boba tea again. But at least Minho's going out of the country next week to deal with some business in Shanghai. Peace on earth for me for a week, I think. That's good, Zoe says sincerely. She's shaking her drink to get the remaining boba pearls out. What are you planning to do with your newfound freedom? She teases. If y'all can't see the text right now, you don't know what I'm screaming about, but like if you've read this, then you probably know what I'm screaming about. Oh. What are you planning to do with your newfound freedom? She teases. Talk to you, Ashkum. Hey, let's go! Let's go! Let's go! So Ashkum means I love, my love, in Turkish. We got a tatlım in the previous one of the previous chapters, and I'm sinking now. We got a tatlım, which means my sweet in Turkish, in one of the previous chapters that I hadn't read on live. But we got an aşkım, baby. We got an aşkım. Let's go. Jamie, please continue using Turkish because I can actually read the Turkish. That is very good for me. Okay, talk to you, aşkım, Mira replies. It's automatic, even if Zoe squeaks again. It's also the truth. Probably come down to see you more. And I know you've been dying to play that one game with me. Fictional split? Split fiction, Zoe corrects, giggling lightly under her breath. Her cheeks are starting to turn a little pink from her fit of giggles, and Mira smiles to herself in pride. She teases, your first slip up ever. You're starting to sound as bad as Rumi with names now. That makes her smile drop a little. She tries to hide it by sipping her drink again, but she can tell from the way that Zoe is eyeing her that she isn't really hiding it all too well. Sure, she and Rumi made that stupid truce last week about not getting in each other's way, but that doesn't mean she has to like it. But her thoughts to herself, just like they taught her in first grade. Speaking of Rumi, Mira says evenly, leaning over the table to look at Zoe. How have you two been? It's the question for two reasons, and one, she knows that Zoe lights up and her pride is a sacrifice she's willing to smile. And two, because she's really fucking nosy about what they've been up to. She can do better than whatever Rumi has planned for them and what she's given to Zoe. Not that Zoe has to know that part. Oh, Rumi's doing great, Zoe exclaims with a happy nod. Her eyes are wide with joy again, and Mira relaxes despite the subject. She's making a lot of progress with her. She has 30ish drafts now to I keep begging her to let me listen, but you know how much of a perfectionist Rumi can be. Mira snorts. Of course she does. And she told me she'll only let me if she likes them. She's recording them right now, I think. Or maybe she's already on the way. I can't remember. Mira raises her eyebrows. What do you mean, on the way? She has a feeling she knows what that means. She just wants to hear Zoe confirm it. Then Zoe answers like Mira had asked for the time on the phone. Oh, Rumi says she's coming to Cali as soon as she's recording her demos. I told her that I was gonna bring her to the best comic book store in town when she gets here, since she doesn't know where to start with the Moon Knight comics. I mean, it's pretty straightforward if you ask me, but she shrugs, but there's a smile on her face. More California girls, more California. The gang's back together, baby. The gang's back together. Oh my god. Mira sports in disgust, but she tips the boba tea in front of her to hide it. Zoe rolls her eyes, exasperated, but a little fond, says, oh, don't worry, you big baby. I checked her flight details last night, and they said she wouldn't be landing here till the early afternoon, so we have all morning to kill. And then you're going to make me drive us to the airport to get her? Mira deadpans, unblinking. Aren't you? Zoe gives her those warm brown eyes again. She flutters her eyelashes, and Mira almost flips the table at how cute she looks. I mean, if you don't mind, Mimi. Oh, she didn't just use that against her. It would be a great help, but if you don't want to drive there with me, my hand in yours, and the windows rolled down while we sing along to Sabrina Carpenter. Okay, Mira exclaims, throwing her hands up. God, okay, I'll drive you. You know you can just ask me like a normal person instead of begging me like a dog, right? You like it when I beg, though. Zoe retorts with a wolfish grin. Wow! Wow! Oh god. I bet. Oh, I bet she does. I can't. Oh my god. Whoa, what happened, huh? My earphones are glitching. Oh my god, no. Not in front of my Ruffles chips. Oh, I'm sure. Uh, Zoe, if you missed that, sorry, I'm gonna repeat this again, but Zoe was just went, "You like it when I beg, though." Oh, this is great. This is great, actually. That kick starts a drum in Mira's chest. It sounds innocent enough, and even more so with Zoe's big smile. But Mira still has to clear her throat and bring her boba tea up to her face to drink. Her boba is starting to run out. She considers getting some more to use as a future cover. But Zoe starts to laugh, and the curls on the corners of her lips start to deepen. Zoe is making fun of her, like she knows exactly what she's doing. Mira doesn't know whether she should be horrified or proud of her evil mastery. Maybe both. She's not used to being outdone by someone, but she's glad that it's Zoe, just as much as she detests that it's Zoe, because it means more trouble. I won't leave you behind at the comic book store if that's what you're worried, Zoe tells her soothingly, and Mira grumbles. Yeah, she was worried about that, but Zoe didn't have to say it out loud. You said my comics, right? You know, the absolute Batman line is absolutely crazy. Get it? I think you'd like it. I can show you and Rumi. Has Rumi read them yet? Mira blurts out. She doesn't know what possesses her to ask or what her end goal for asking is. Zoe thinks about it for a moment, humming and staring at the corner of the ceiling. It's Mira loves. I know she started with the absolute Wonder Woman run, and I think she's up to date because she's been sending me screenshots about how hot Diana looked all week, Zoe says slowly, spinning around her boba drink to play with the remaining ice cubes inside. But I think she's reading Absolute Superman right now because she liked how his ass looked on the cover. She didn't actually say that. I just know her heart and intentions, even if she'll never admit them. So, no Batman yet. That's fine, I guess. Mira mumbles to herself. It's good, actually. That means that she can talk about something with Zoe and leave Rumi out of the conversation. Rumi doesn't have to butt into everything that they do. Waltzes are only for duos, for example. Nice sentence. I really like that sentence. That reminds me, Zoe says quickly, and Mira straightens up. So I already know where I'm taking you today and where I'm taking both you and Rumi, but I have a special surprise for tomorrow. She rubs her hands like an evil fly, and Mira rolls her eyes with a smile. You will never guess where I'm taking you both before you leave, Zoe declares with an evil smile, and she bounces a little in her seat, like she physically can't contain the secret. Knowing Zoe, that's probably it. It's going to be hella fun and it'll help us team build. Team build? Mira asks with a snicker. Yes, team build, Zoe reiterates with a light glare. She kicks Mira under the table and Mira laughs some more. There will be lots of team building because I bet my entire bank account that the three of us could run a karaoke night like the Marines. But this tonight's activity will also help us with our critical thinking, our teamwork. Well, I guess team building falls under that, and a super exciting immersive experience. Are they going to do an escape room? Are they going to do an escape room? Because I think that would be so fun. We'll see. Zoe has her finger lifted up as she speaks, and Mira coughs under her breath. Nerd. Zoe hits her under the table again. Mira hits her back. Zoe hits her harder in the shin, and Mira laughs some more. It causes Zoe to hit her shin again with a whine. Mira has too much pride to admit that Zoe's kicks actually hurt a little. That said, if you skip out on it, I'm going to kill you, Zoe says seriously. Sorry, that was supposed to be serious. Okay. That said, if you skip out on it, I'm going to kill you, Zoe says seriously, staring her in the eye. I had to book a week in advance. A week. Plus, the deposit almost killed my bank account, but my dad agreed to pitch in a couple bucks in exchange for me cleaning up his bathroom. Mira tries not to grimace at the thought of what Zoe had to go through to get those measly dollars. Zoe didn't have to clean the grime off an old man's bathroom just to get that money. Mira would have paid that deposit with a wave of her hand and then more and then some. Zoe sighs. No, I'm not letting you pay for it. It's like she's a reader or something. No, you're just pathetically predictable, Zoe says with a shrug. Mira kicks her under the table. Zoe presses her lips together to keep from grinning, but her shoulders shake with her giggles. Why can't I pay for my third? Mira whines, setting down her empty boba cup. You think it would be more fair to let the players pay for their ticket to whatever place you're taking us to? Yes, but I invited you guys, Zoe argues, kicking Mira again. It's lighter. It would be rude to make you and Rumi pay for something that I planned and for something that you two flew across a damn ocean for. We did that because we wanted to see you, Mira says, slightly offended. Zoe could live in the middle of nowhere and they'd still fly out to see her. At least Mira knows she would. And from all the times Zoe has gushed about Rumi to her, and all the times that she's seen them talk in their shared group chat, which unfortunately has been revived against her will due to Zoe's insistence that the three of them mostly corresponded there, Rumi would too. Besides, it's just an escape room. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. I'm very smart. Besides, it's just an escape room. Mira continues with a half-hearted shrug. How hard? Escape room? Zoe squeaks. A worker mopping the floors looks over to her, and Zoe waves with a sheepish grin and leans into Mira. Lowering her voice, she hisses, How did you know it was an escape room? Because she's smart, like me. It was a lucky guess, Mira says slowly. Artie's a genius, guys. Trust. That's what I'm saying. You have to trust me all the time. I think I'm actually gonna turn on my lights. No. Lights, camera, action. Boop. Come over. Boop beep boop. Yeah, let's turn on my lights, y'all. It's getting dark. Okay. Better. Better. Cool. Okay. Artie's a prophet too. Am I? Sorry, I thought, I thought, have I ever predicted something? Artie, are they dating or not? I need help. I haven't seen any other chapters. They're not. They are not. They are not, but they're like this. Jeez. Yeah, so here's the thing. Give Me That Candy Floss is very funny because they're actually not dating. Tiresias Artie. Oh my god, wait. That is very funny. Because I was once cast to play Tiresias in Antigone when I was back in high school. Anyways, Candy Floss is very funny because they're not dating in canon, but there are roleplay accounts for Zoe, Rumi, Mira. And the Mira and Zoe roleplay accounts are dating in the roleplay account universe, but not in canon. They yearn to date so bad. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. They are deeply, deeply in love. Um, but they're not dating because that's always what happens in polytrix fics. Confusing my autistic brain. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just know that they're not dating, but they are in love and they're gonna date eventually. They're gonna be together eventually. Okay. It was a lucky guess, Mira says slowly. She would have said obvious, but that would have granted her another kick to the shin, and she'd rather not have green bruises on her legs for her photo shoot in a couple days. She's so real. Zoe sits back in her chair. Sorry. Zoe sits back in her seat and huffs. She crosses her arms, and Mira almost wants to coo at how adorably sulky she looks. It's like she's looking at 7-year-old Zoe again, sulking because Mira wouldn't share her honey butter chips with her. I asked Ginu if he knew any good escape rooms in California because his friends like to go to escape rooms, Zoe explains, still a little sulky. Mira massages her cheek with the heel of her palm to keep from smiling too wide at how cute she's being. He sent me a bunch of recs, and I spent an entire night combing through them to find the perfect one. And I with you and Rumi. No, I'm not spoiling it. Shut. And Zoe laughs. Then Zoe asks, almost to herself, by the way, do you know his name? Mia frowns. Whose name? Gino's friend. The other one in his band thingy with the abs, Zoe says with a dismissive wave. Call before and Gino introduced him, but he cut out with his name. But he's cool. He helped Gino send me that list. Why do you want to know his name so badly? Mira asks, a little baffled. And why do you think I'd know? Because you're friends with Ginu? No. And you have crazy connections? Connections, if you will? That's good. Connections, if you will? Zoe giggles at her own joke. Mira has to restrain herself from kicking her shin again. But then Zoe adds, besides, I think his pink hair is cute. I want to see if his socials have. No, I don't know him, and I think that you need to get better taste with what you find attractive. Mira automatically says, damn, Mira, okay. She hadn't meant for all that to come out. Oops, kinda. Zoe grins at her. Mira's eyes dart left and right in confusion. Why is Zoe looking at her like she caught her in a trap? All she said was, pink hair, and I find you attractive. Taste? Zoe teases. She folds her leans closer. Through her eyelashes, she purrs. Actually, I wouldn't mind if I get a better. Mira's breath hitches. No, no, it's fine, she replies, but it comes out like a stupid squeak. She wants to hit herself for it. She knows that friends like to flirt a lot. In theory, anyway. Oh, oh, we're doing this again. We're doing the whole is this friend flirting or is this romantic flirting thing? Oh, that tastes like poison. Mm, just gals being pals. Uh, I hate that so bad. Okay. She knows that friends like to flirt a lot. In theory, anyway. People in the modeling world like to flirt with each other, but that's a given, considering how attractive everyone is. She's done her fair share of flirting too, like when women at her gigs would trace their fingers over her protruding collarbone and purr things in her ear that border on wicked. But then Zoe says things like this, and it's like she's back to being a schoolgirl with a stupid playground crush. Zoe laughs and laughs at her reaction, and all that Mira can do is flounder and gently kick her shin in retaliation because she can't ever bring herself to hurt Zoe in any way. Her boba tea can't save her now. Me after this, Mira strains out, just to stop laughing at her like that. That makes Zoe sober up. She claps her hands together in excitement and she answers, oh, there's a street. We can kill hours there while we wait for Rumi's flight. Now, I don't mind getting another drink, or we can go, Mira says quickly. The longer they spend at the boba shop, the more she has to drown in her shame that Zoe finally got the best of her. They drop their empty boba cups in a trash can by the door, and they wave their goodbye to the workers. Zoe automatically hooks her elbow in hers as they make their way down the street. And Mira doesn't mind it at all. They look like schoolgirls holding each other's elbows like this, but she doesn't really care. Not even when Zoe starts to skip walk and when she tries to convince Mira to do the same. Bleh. Or down the street. Mira squints and she can make out the small, dilapidated sign that flashes in abnormal sequences. It's a corner store and it doesn't seem to be getting much foot traffic. But Zoe tells her that it's her favorite place to shop, so Mira keeps an open mind. Zoe tugs her arm to redirect her into a shop they nearly pass. Mira stumbles and Zoe giggles against her shoulder. Mira jabs her rib, but she rolls her eyes and sets her cap lower on her face to concede to Zoe's impulsive whims. It's a small coffee shop, one that Zoe seems to be familiar with, judging from the way that she waves at the barista and calls out, "Hey Chris, how's pre-med going?" She orders a small cold brew and plucks a can of Monster from a nearby fridge. We're here. And then gestures to Mira to order her own. Mira lifts her hand to toss out nah, I'm good. But her hand ends up close to her mouth to stifle back a yawn. Chagrined, she orders a caramel latte, which makes Zoe giggle. If she's laughing because Mira gave in, or because of Mira's choice of drink, Mira's too tired to find out. Let's take a sip of the monster. Oh god. Guys, I've never had a monster. Oh my god. Hello. It smells fine. Wait. That tastes nice. Wait. Oh, that's nice. How much caffeine is in a monster? That's really good. How have you never made a monster? Listen, I don't drink energy drinks. I don't. Like, I hate Red Bull with a passion. I just don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink coffee that much, like, unless I'm, like, waking up super early. I'm gonna check the caffeine. Do they have the caffeine amount here? I love that Denny's just, like, too much caffeine. Yeah, L-carnitine. It also has L-carnitine. Okay. It has erythritol as the sweetener. Does it not have the caffeine amount? Oh. It's 160 milligrams. 160 milligrams. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a lot of caffeine. Oh, god. Now I'm scared. I really need to be able to sleep. I'm not gonna drink that much. I just I do it for the bit. The things I do for the bit. Okay. Wait, I'm gonna like freak myself out psychologically now. I'm gonna freak myself out psychologically and I won't be able to sleep. Don't say that. My dedication to the bit has Chinu, don't say that. Let's keep going and I'll try to keep myself calm. You're gonna be fine, queen. Um I'm just gonna Okay, bad news is that Monster does taste really good. Oh god. Okay. Oh, where are we? Okay. We're back. We're back. Better than Pilk. Well, many things are better than Pilk. Okay. Whoa, Zoe, is that a squirrel or a chipmunk? She calls out, pointing out the window behind them. Zoe turns around and cries out, "Where?" Mira hands the barista a crisp $100 bill and mouths, "Keep the change and don't tell her." She flashes her a thumbs up. "Oh man, I think the little dude ran away," Zoe complains, turning back around to look at her. She frowns when she catches the barista opening the cash register to stop the bill. Mira gives him a hard stare. He coughs into his hand and quickly says, "Oh, someone paid forward your drinks, so it'll be on the house." Really? Zoe raises her eyebrows in surprise and suspicion. But you just told me what the total. "I'll be back with your drinks, ladies," he announces, and he turns around before Zoe can shake him down some more. Mira presses her lips together to keep from smiling or laughing. She can feel Zoe burning a stare into the side of her face, but she doesn't dare turn around to keep it. It would just give her away. Still, Zoe tries to get her to talk by pinching her side. She bats Zoe away with a snicker, but she keeps her lips tight together. Their drinks come minutes later, with Zoe's drink peculiarly only filled three-fourths full, and Zoe tucks her over to an empty table in the corner. Mira almost slides into the seat, but Zoe shakes her head and cracks open her monster can. She tips her head back all the way to take one, two, then five big gulps, then drains the rest of the liquid into her coffee. That's crazy work. Let's try it, y'all. Um it's still gonna taste like it's still gonna taste so bad. It's still gonna taste like poison, but oh, that's so bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, the things I do for the bit. Maybe if I put more monster in? You should try coffee and pilk next. Oh my god. You know it is optional, right? Not to me. Guys, I think what I'm gonna do, that tastes like poison. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer some of this coffee into this cup very carefully. um, Going very scientific here. Okay. And I'm gonna add more monster to this and taste it with a bit more monster because that was horrible. Selam, Claire. Okay, I have some. Oh, girl who's forcing you, guys. I'm forcing myself. Okay. Oh no! Oh no! Jeez, are you queen? Stop! I'm scared for you. I once ate cereal with coffee with a cup of coffee. I've done that too. I've done coffee cereal. Okay, guys. Everyone in the chat telling me not to do it. For the fans! Hmm. I'm adding water to it because that coffee is so concentrated. Girl, coffee isn't meant to be mixed with monster. That's so much caffeine. I know. That's not too bad now because I weakened it a little with the water. And you know what this means? This means that this will be the rest of the drink I'll be having for the rest of the live. We're not going overboard with this. I'm not saying we told you so, but she's gaslighting us and herself. Listen, it's still horrible. It's still horrible for you, Squid. Yeah, actually, I needed that. Mhm. My camera roll slowly being filled with Artie's shenanigans. Artie, what'd you do? Blink twice if someone has you at gunpoint. Actually, guys, Jamie has me at gunpoint, and they're forcing me to drink all the creations they come up with. uh, oh God, Zoe, why? Zoe, why? I told Red on you, Ari. No! No! Jamie is probably wondering what they can make you drink next. Probably, Bri. Probably. One of my friends refuses to read this because of the food crimes. That's very funny. That is very funny. Guys, every live needs to have a theme, and today's theme is cold brew spiked with Monster. Monster is good on its own, but we have been cursed to have this as our beverage. What's next? Kimchi with milk? I am not doing kimchi with milk, and I don't think Jamie would do kimchi with milk either, because Jamie tried kimchi with milk and hated it so bad. like like it made them sick, I think. God should have never given us free will. That's like 4 cups of black coffee. Please be careful. You're good. Here's the thing. I still have this much black coffee left, and I still have like most of this monster, and I'm not drinking the rest of it. Don't worry. Oh my God, Red is here. Red is here to Red is gonna say some stuff to me right now. Red, don't look at me. Don't look at me, Red. No. Parent Red has come. My lord has come. Oh God. Yeah, that's bad. Ooh. Red, how? Red, please get her to stop. I summoned my parent for this. Oh my God. I- Red arriving at the right moment. Well, you're done for. I'm gonna tweet something. Artie Monster isn't allowed with coffee anymore. Not allowed. It is illegal now. Chad called Red on me. Well, Cheese called Red on me. Hits with pen. No, bad Artie. I've been the voice of reason again, Red. Help. You need to not do this for the bit, Artie. This isn't okay. No more caffeine for the angel. But like, what if I want to though? What if I want to? What if I want to do it for the bit, yo? God forbid a girl love to do it for the bit. I will send a voice note, woman. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh no, Red threatening me with a voice note. Oh no. Don't worry, like I said, I have most of this monster remaining, and I have all of my coffee. This is all I'll have for the rest of the. I am in a mood. Next 2 days, I am in a mood. Just stumbled into, but I agree with the chat. Chat is getting on my ass again. My ass. Oh my God. Okay, I laughed a lot, y'all. I think we have to go back to the chapter. Hi, Lil. Artie, you have Red and me banning you from more caffeine. Jeez, is this the stuff Zoe drinks on daily? Yes, this is the stuff. Fill me in, boo. I'll fill you in. You are now filled in. Poor Zoe. Poor Zoe for real. Okay. Let's take it back to the thing that left us here. Let's take it back. Okay. Okay. She tips her head back all the way to take one, two, then five big gulps, and then drains the rest of the liquid into her coffee. At least I didn't take five big gulps of Monster. I'm being so much more responsible than Zoe. Mira watches her with two mere blinks. I stayed up all night last night doing my say. Don't worry about it, Zoe tells her when she catches her odd stare. The bitterness in the coffee gets sweeter when you put Monster in it, but never use the Ultra ones for it. They'll have you on the toilet for 15 hours minimum. She snaps the lid back onto her coffee, then opens and closes it while they walk out to the sidewalk. Like a dog to the heel, Mira speeds over to take it. She's not even remotely bothered by it. She's accepted that Zoe could tell her to fork over her $1 trillion fortune, and she'd only ask, cash or credit. Zoe swings their hands together as they make their way down the street. She talks Mira's ear off about her stream plans for the week. Baking cookies on Tuesday, then Baldur's Gate on Wednesday, and something called Peak with a bunch of other streamers that she made friends with due to her honeymoon fame. I wish you could join, Zoe says, and her smile seems a little melancholic. A stab of guilt hits Mira. Me too, she only answers, because there really isn't anything else to say. They've had that talk a couple of times already, and she knows Zoe's talked about it with Rumi too. Being on Zoe's stream has been a faraway dream of hers, but dreams are dreams for a reason. They're unattainable, and the last thing that Mira wants is to throw Zoe into the deep end of news articles and family drama. She's already been pushing it by coming here so often. She knows she's pushing it. But seeing Zoe smile every time she surprises her with a visit feels like an injection to an addict. Mira walks up to the front steps of the thrift shop and holds open the door for Zoe. Zoe giggles under her breath and pretends to curtsy at her. Mira rolls her eyes. She remembers a saying that her mother used to bark at her as a child. If you roll your eyes too much, they'll stay stuck like that, she had said. Same. Mira can deal with the embarrassment of stuck eyes if it means getting to have this much fun with Zoe in the process. The first thing that Mira notices when they enter is the faulty air conditioning. The second thing she notices is the smell. It's not a bad smell per se, but it's one that she hasn't encountered much before in the past. It smells like mildew just as much as it smells like overly clean detergent. It reminds her of the flea market she visited with Zoe and Rumi last week, except congested into a non ventilated room. Takes note of the organized rows upon rows of clothing racks, as well as shelves of old books and shoes and plastic bins. There aren't that many people walking around the fairly sized shop, but she notices that the people vary, from the pair of old women checking out the books, to the child wailing and pointing at a toy with his mother, and to a small group of people their age rifling through the clothes. This is a communal spot, Mira realizes. No shit, Sherlock, it's a thrift shop. um, my dad and I come here a lot when a new semester is coming up, Zoe explains, and she takes her hand to lead her over to the sign that says women's. Some days you get duds, and some days you find a gold mine. You see this? She points at her bucket hat proudly. I got it from here a couple months ago. Neat, huh? Chuckling, Mira answers sincerely. It's neat, Zumi. Mira touches the sleeve of a blue sweater on the shelf. It's scratchy, but she doesn't wrinkle her nose. Her knuckles brush over the rest of the long sleeves, and she's pleasantly surprised to see that she recognizes some of the clothing on the racks in front of them. She also notices how worn most of them look, which would be an awful taboo thing to show to her family, particularly her clothing obsessed mother who never wants to wear the same jacket twice in fear of seeming cheap. But Mira likes it. She likes the thought of having a favorite bomber jacket, wearing it for years until it's yellowed at the sleeves, and to give it to someone who might like it too. Is that a reference? I'm gonna fuck. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. Okay. 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 Mira touches the. That's very sweet. What do you think? Mira slides her eyes over to her and Zoe has her hands behind her back and she's rocking on her heels as she waits for Mira's answer. It's the light twitch of the corner of her eye that gives her away. Zoe is nervous. It's not hard to imagine why. Even if Mira sometimes can't fathom the tiny baby prices in Zoe's world, she knows well enough how fortunate she is. She knows that she and Zoe come from very, very different places in life in general. From the way that people around her at gala speak, she also knows that judgment can come as easy as sipping on wine. Zoe's nervousness isn't unfounded. She wants to quell Zoe's fears. She would leave all of her gold behind to be right here with Zoe if she could. That might not be possible now, might not be ever, but it could be, and that's all Mira could ever hope for. I think we'll be able to overhaul your wardrobe in the couple of hours you wanted to spend here, Mira tells her sincerely, and Zoe beams that giant smile that she loves so much. It almost makes her feel bad, almost, when she adds, but there's also a bunch of weird stuff that you could never pay me to touch. Snorting, Zoe answers, well, I did say being here's a treasure hunt. Did you know that last week I saw someone donate their dildo in one of the bins? I don't think you're allowed to do that. I don't think you're allowed to do that, actually. You are not allowed to do that. You can't even donate underwear. You are not allowed to do that. You are not allowed to do that. Okay. Mira's mouth falls open in disgusted shock. What? Why did they. Was it even washed? Zoe shrugs. I avoided the bin and I didn't want to because I didn't feel like going to the hospital for an STD and explain that it was from thrifting, so she says with a giggle. Her hands fall over the sleeves in front of her to tug them apart and check for suitable front designs. But other than the dildo, thrifting is fun. It's like being a dog and digging up holes in the backyard to find bones. Weird analogy to use there, Zoe. Mira drawls. Jamie and her animal imagery. Anyway, who cares? Who cares? Zoe jostles her shoulder with hers. Mira snickers under her breath. Like you had anything better, Zoe whines. But she changes gear to yank out a denim jacket to call out, oh, this would look really cute on you, Mimi. I don't do denim jackets. Mira deadpans. She leans over to look at the jacket anyway. She almost the front is covered in all sorts of movie logos, cartoon characters that she likes. Like it's a little teasing. It's cute. Mira replies, grumbles more like. Zoe gives her a small smile for the admission. announces with her chin held high, "I'll keep this on hand until we check out then." Mira doesn't argue. She grumbles about it under her breath the entire time. They spend about an hour checking out all the clothes in the women's long sleeve section. Zoe drags them over to the men's afterwards because, according to her, the men's section might have better things that could float her boat. There, surrounded by the biker jackets and old college varsity jackets and dad like flannels, Mira shows Zoe how to measure hems and seams against her collarbone and waist. Zoe repays her a foolproof rule that works every time in the form of nearly choking her to death when she wraps a pair of jeans around Mira's neck. Mira has to flail her arms to get her to lighten her hold. "Sorry," Zoe calls with a wince. She apologizes by pressing a quick kiss to the underside of Mira's jaw, to her neck, more like, but it freezes Mira on the spot all the same. Zoe pats her forearm with a shy laugh. Zoe drags her over to the shirt, she calls it. Are cheesy puns and stupid graphics, like the one with three wolves howling that Zoe keeps insisting would look good on her. Mira shoots back by tossing a shirt at her that says "MILF, man I love fishing" across the front. Something runs straight into the back of her knee, and Mira steadies herself with a hand on the rack. She hears the squeak first before she sees them. "What are you doing here?" Mira accuses softly. The little boy hugging her knee looks up at her with big brown eyes, honey and golden, and Mira wants to melt right through the floor. He mumbles something to her, and Mira chuckles. She drapes her selected clothes over an empty spot on the rack, and she bends down to look at him at eye level. "If you're lost, me and my friend can come with you," Mira offers the child. She can feel Zoe's stare burning through the side of her face. "Is that something you'd like? I promise we'll be nice." He shakes his head. Then he points at a rack a few feet away. He asks, "Can we play?" Mira laughs, gentle and light, and she teases, "I don't know. What do we get if I win? What do we get if I win?" He shrugs helplessly. She figured he would do as much. She taps her chin and looks at the sky to pretend to think. Then she offers slowly, "If I win to whoever brought you here, I want to be friends with them." He asks, affronted. "I can get you anything you want," she says easily. He tilts his head to the side. "A car?" Zoe snorts, but he hides it with a slap of a hand over her mouth. Mira grins as she holds out her hand and says, "Sure, you can even pick the color. Sounds good?" He grabs her hand and takes it generously. "Nice grip," Mira comments with a proud grin. One thing that'll always be canon in Jamie Fix is that Mira is great with kids. And I love her for it. And I love Jamie for doing this. Yes, Mira with a kid again. God, guys, Mira is the mother. We love mommy Mira. I love her bad. Water break. Mira really is the mother. Oh. Okay. The game that he wanted to play with her is the same game that Mira is already familiar with after so many years of playing with kids at her charity events. It's just a game of tag. Unfortunately for him, Mira is incredibly good at tag. I mean, Ray Ami did say Mira is my mommy. Mira, that's my mommy. She a baddie. Take a pic. Oh, okay. The seriousness in her voice catches Mira is incredibly good at tag. She enlists the help of Zoe, who she orders to wrap around the other side of the rack to catch him. The seriousness in her voice catches Zoe off guard, but she salutes at Mira with a giggle on her lips and disappears while Mira hunts down the kid. Guys, Mira would be so good at Jet Lag the game. Anyone know about Jet Lag the game? I've been obsessed with Jet Lag the game recently. Mira would be so. What is Red saying? Discord, ping me if I'm needed. Bye, Red. Mwah. Yes, she would. She would be so good at Jet Lag. Okay. The seriousness in her voice catches Zoe off guard, but she salutes at Mira with a giggle on her lips and disappears while Mira hunts down the kid. They catch up to him in seconds, but Mira waves Zoe away with a finger to the lips, and Zoe pretends to look out into the far distance and exclaim about wondering where on earth he could be. It makes Mira laugh, breathless and childlike. They let him have his fun for a couple minutes, just as he cheers and sticks his tongue out at Mira through the clothes on the rack for winning. Zoe snatches him backwards by the shoulders, and Mira rips the clothes open to take a better look at him. He squeals, but in that joyful, whiny way that kids always do when they get caught. Mira gives him a fist bump. She lets him blabber on about Hot Wheels while Zoe runs to get the clothes that they left behind. When she comes back, Zoe asks, breathless, "Could we ask the cashier to do a PA announcement?" "Wait, little dude, do you have a name?" "Nikolai." "Nikolai," he says happily. "Hi, Nikolai," Zoe coos, crouching down to his height. "Nikolai." Mira frowns. Mira corrects slowly. Oh, wait. Is it Nikolai or Nikolai? Wait, who? Who is correct? This is the hard part of doing cold reads. Is it Nikolai or Nicol Wait, what? What are you reading? Is it GTC? Yes. We love jet lag, tag across Europe, my beloved. I'm watching Tag All Stars right now. Nikolai, Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference. I haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, guys. Yeah, Nikolai. Yeah. Isn't it Nikolai? It's Nikolai. Wait, what? I don't know either, Artie. Guys, it's Nick Olaj? Like the Lodge? J, not I? Okay. Nicolaj. Nicolaj. I have okay, I thought it was Nikolai. Okay. Okay. Nicolaj, he says happily. Hi, Nicolaj. Zoe coos, crouching down to his height. Nicolaj. Mira corrects slowly. Zoe frowns. That's what I said. Nicolaj shakes his head and says, "No, it's Nicolaj, like she said. Like she said." He points at Mira, who lifts her chin proudly. They don't need to ask about his parents when they show up a minute later to scold him for running out. They're flushed with embarrassment as they thank Mira and Zoe for keeping him occupied, but Mira waves them away with a simple, "It's fine." Now I need to look up that reference. What is that? Nicolaj. Nico Nico guys, I feel like my brain is melting. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh, I see. Not that, not that. Nicolaj Boyle. I see. Huh. Huh. I see. I see. Pronouncing even if they're right. It's a reference to one of the character's kids' names that he always corrects someone in pronouncing even if they're right. I see. He looks really cute. The kid looks really, really cute. Okay, I just pulled up the wiki page. Nicolaj wiki page. Oh god. Okay. She dusts her pants off. She can feel Zoe smiling and staring at her before she even turns around. Suddenly self conscious of her smile, Mira drops it and asks, "What?" Zoe's smile is soft. She's seen it a couple of times before, like when she'd struggle to jump in Portal or when she'd wrinkle her nose and rant about all the weirdos at her gym. Her smile always makes Mira feel like she can take on the world. Nothing, Zoe says. Her voice is as soft as her smile. I just thought it was cute. Mira almost stumbles backwards. She whips her head to look at her. Cute? Hey, look, jeans! Zoe exclaims happily. Zoe takes her hand and drags her away. By the time they reach the jeans section, Mira has two shirts and a cardigan cradled in her arms. Zoe has to make a run to the other side of the shop to grab a small basket for all their clothes. She comes pitter pattering back with a proud grin, and she looks so much like a puppy that Mira almost melts on the spot. They may not be designer clothes that her family likes, but they look cute on her, which is both an objective fact from all the years she's spent poring over how certain clothes look on her, and a subjective one that she holds in high regard whenever Zoe compliments her. They don't spend too much time with the jeans. I have enough jeans at home, Zoe says with a wave of her hand, and Mira chuckles her agreement under her breath. With their hands flipping through the many jeans in front of them, bleaching a pair of jeans someday, actually. Maybe my black jeans would look really cool bleached. Maybe if I drew turtles or stars on them with the bleach. What do you think? Mira hums and jabs her tongue her cheek inside of her cheek to think about it. She recognizes a few of the brands of the jeans she's flipping through, and she wrinkles her nose at the few brands that she dislikes. No wonder they were donated here of all places. Metro, Mira says thoughtfully. And stars. I had a client who made me wear bleached pants that looked like they had lightning scars on them. Those were nice too. Hearts? Zoe echoes, as if it's his response. Mira doesn't mind it. Quite fond of hearts. I think hearts would look cute too. Or stars, deaf. What if I did both? Never seen them together on bleached jeans, but maybe we could start a prototype and patent it. Mira teases. Are you going to help me set are you going to help me set up a legal team for it? Zoe jokes a finger at Mira. Don't actually answer that. I wasn't serious. Oh god. Oh, sorry. Okay. Mira clamps her mouth shut. She goes back to looking through the jeans. Mumbles under her breath. Startles. Her hands fall away from the rack to look at her oddly, and she asks in disbelief. Hearts remind you of me. Why? She's the last person that someone should ever think about when thinking hearts or love or affection. In fact, she's practically those things. A lot of her photo shoots are on with thick eyeshadows and eyeliner and snarling lips and chokers that have been the point of contention with her parents on multiple occasions. There's been the occasional shoot where she was portrayed more delicately with straightened hair and a subtler, wry smile, but those still carry the same kind of diva aura that directors often seek her out for. But she has more scandals of being rude to people just for yawning than she has articles about her philanthropic endeavors. They never bother her anymore, honestly. The more people that stay away from her, the better. But the fear that Zoe might like someone like Rumi better, or that she'd just get tired of her like Rumi did, like everyone does, turns so palpable on some nights that not even a bottle of Cheval Blanc 1947 can destroy it on her taste buds. That little girl in her always whispers, please keep writing to me. Please keep talking to me. But then Zoe giggles, like she said and she points at Mira's mouth. Talk to me, she points out happily, but it only makes Zoe laugh some more, just like the way she gives her love so freely. Then Zoe points at her hair. And you have and you have hair pinker than a 12-year-old girl's room, she declares. And pink reminds me of Valentine. Wednesday reminds me of love letters. Letters make her up. And love letters remind me of hearts. So Mira equals hearts. Mira harumphs. That point is harder to make a case against, she supposes. Fair enough, she grumbles. Zoe laughs at that, delighted at hands brush over the rough texture of the jeans again. Blurts out, "Why is your hair pink anyway?" A couple flit through her brain as fast as the flickering lights above them. Because I like pissing my family off, because it helps me stand out in a line of other models. I felt like no one saw me anymore, and I just felt like it, Mira answers. It's the shortened version of the truth, anyway. Zoe tilts her head at her, in the same way she always does when she has more questions to ask. Mira doesn't mind it in the slightest. She would take the time to answer all 700 of Zoe's questions before ever complaining about any of them. Do you ever want to change up your look? Zoe asks curiously. She reaches over to twirl a few long hair around her finger. It makes Mira weak. I think red would look really nice on you. Or blonde. Have you thought about going blonde? Not like blonde blonde, but dirty blonde would be cool, I think. Mira's thought about it before, but she's always come back to I wouldn't. Too many people in the industry know me by the color of my hair. Sometimes they call me that pink-haired girl before they call me by name. Louis' lips tug downwards into a frown. Oh, Mira, I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? I like it, Mira says with a shrug. The further apart she can stay away, the further apart she can stay from her family name, the better. And besides, from the Kang family to rock neon pink hair, parents always make her wear a cap or pin up her hair. They have public affairs. She can see Zoe rocking back and forth on her heels and avoiding her eyes. Mira lets out a fond sigh. You can ask me whatever you want. You know that, right? Mira says, amused. Zoe wastes no time in blurting out, "What's your hair routine?" Mira asks between her laughter. Why on earth would she need to know that? Your hair is always soft, Zoe argues, and Mira bites back the rest of her laughter to keep from making her too pouty. And the last time I dyed my hair in, what was it, 10th, it felt like straw, and my blue hair started to turn, ruined so many pillowcases. Well, it helps that I have an entire closet full of fresh pillowcases, Mira says, and Zoe giggles at that like she just made a joke. She didn't. And I have a hairstylist that comes to see me every 3, 4 weeks. She thinks about it. She's not thinking about the jeans anymore. She hasn't seen me in almost 5 weeks, though. I've been pretty busy with work recently. The quarter's been tough on everyone, she muses, almost to herself. It's also because she's been busy flying back and forth between Korea and the US. She makes to ask her hairstylist if she'd just like to come on the plane with her next time and be paid double for it, or triple. Wait, Zoe exclaims, bouncing on her heels in excitement. She gently kicks she gently kicks the basket full of clothes to the side to lean closer into Mira. Can see your real hair color growing from your roots? Is that why you came here wearing a hat? Take off your hat! Mira chuckles. She stands still where she is, even though Zoe's nose is only a couple inches away from hers. Zoe, I'm not taking my cap off so you can make fun of my ugly root. Mira, take off your hat, Zoe orders, hard and commanding. Mira takes off her hand instantly. Predictable as hell. I'm gonna take a little immediate. Oh no. Confirmed. Oh, Mira takes off her hat in an instant. I knew I kind of spoiled myself for this one. Her account tweeting about needing to get her roots done. This part had me wanting to throw up. Wait, what? Okay. Then Zoe big happy smile in return, and Mira sighs in exasperation. She taps her hat against her thigh as she strains out. It's nothing special, Zumi. Nothing special, my ass, Zoe says offhandedly. She leans in closer to Mira, and Mira stops breathing. The aisle suddenly feels tight. They should really space out the racks some more. Squinting, Zoe asks her, Your natural. Oh, I know. Oh, no. Mira's lips twitch into a smile. She shakes her head gently, side to side, and Zoe's eyes widen in surprise. What? She exclaims, and she leans in even more to check Mira's roots. How is your hair anything but? You know that you have a widow's peak? Dad's side, I think, Mira says casually. Whoa! Zoe squints into her hair. Mira can feel her breath fanning gently against her cheek. She doesn't think she's breathing anymore. And if she is, it's shallow. She gets a little bit tighter. It's an exclusive edition that she got for her birthday from a family friend, but she doesn't mind if it ends up crushed and battered in her hands. Can I? Zoe carefully asks as she uh, lifts a hand up. She would trust Zoe with anything and everything. Zoe curls a finger under her bangs and lifts. Her knuckles line, and Mira suppresses a shiver. Remembers how it felt between her fingers. Mira knows she stops breathing on the gentle rise and fall near her collarbone. Drains. The tension doesn't release. She is holding her breath. You okay? Mira asks, and she does her best to inject at least a semblance of teasing to her tone. Zoe's fingers are still curled into her hair. Zoe sees her up in her hair and not into her. I told you that it looked ugly, Mira says with a strained chuckle. I'll make sure to touch it up before I see you next time. Slacked off this week because I didn't have too many photo shoots to worry about, and most of them were wide shots. Zoe doesn't answer. She doesn't make fun of Mira for slacking off, and she isn't making fun of the color of her hair. I think I know what's, and I think I'm gonna throw up if I'm correct. If I'm not correct, then it's fine. Okay. She doesn't blurt out that she likes it either, or that pink, or anything that's remotely like her Zoomy. Zoe? She asks softly. There's something in the air that she doesn't like. It's not mildew, and it's not the scent of the cleaner that makes their shoes squeak each time they turn on the floor. And it makes her want to hold her breath too. But then Zoe drops her hand from her hair, and a strand of pink falls in front of her face. Mira tucks it behind her ear and frowns. Sorry, that shade of brown kind of caught me off guard. I was correct. I was fucking correct. I was fucking correct. Oh my god, I was fucking correct. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh. I need a bucket to throw up. It's so disgusting. Okay. Okay. Wait. Oh my god. Did that help at all, girl? No, it didn't. Sorry, that shade of brown kind of caught me off guard. Zoe says, oh god, my friends are loud again. Zoe says, her voice gentle. She smiles apologetically at Mira, and Mira releases a sigh of relief through her nose. I thought you were. Why didn't. I just thought that maybe you. She shakes her head and blinks. I'm rambling, sorry. I think it's the monster coffee combo that I had. Want to check out the books? I need to throw up. I need to throw up. Ugh. Already stop drinking that. I'll do whatever I want. Jesus Christ. I love your friends just being like, yeah, that's Artie. They're used to me screaming at this point. If I was like not doing a live and I screamed like that, they would probably check up. Self-destructive drinking. Self-destructive monster coffee drinking. It's so bad. The aftertaste is so bad. Okay. Oh god. Not brown, not shade of brown. She said that shade of brown. Mira wonders what she means. Does she mean? Does she remember her? Books are fine, Mira starts to say, her voice gravelly. But then Zoe asks, what happened to your necklace? Oh my god. Back to back. God. What's next? The letters? Guys, I think. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we pushed my desk and a box dropped from my shelf. That is very funny. No crash out like an Artie crash out. Artie, are you okay? I'll show you guys what happened. That box just fell. Because oh god, my bookshelf is struggling. Oh god, yeah, the bookshelf is struggling. Ooh. Tear them apart. No, a casualty. Fine. I just don't know how I'm gonna. I don't. My whole book. I can get it later. It's like it's fine. The bookcase is worrying me. That's a little concerning. Sorry. Hmm. 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 Very. Hmm. Give me a second, y'all. Okay. Oh no, I can't do that. Giraffe, you giraffe, get out of here. Oh my god. Welcome to. Oh god. I just don't know how. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe I can just push this in and it kind of holds it off. I have an exercise bike that I never use. Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is the way to go. Okay. I just don't want the. I just don't. Right now. Okay, we're good. We're back, chat. We're actually so back. We've never been over. Okay. Okay. Cool. We're back. Nothing ever happened. Nothing bad. Nothing bad ever happens in an Artie live. The fallout is gonna be crazy. Well, that was quite the intermission. Anyways, let's go back. Let's go back to killing ourselves. Okay. But then Zoe asks, "What happened to your necklace?" Mira swallows hard. It burns like hot iron as it goes down, or liquor, as heavy as that night as that night in the bar, I guess. Zoe blinks and she shakes her head and just my head's all over the place today. You usually wear that gold necklace whenever I see you, she babbles. Trying trying something new? To admit, but she clamps up. Too see now. She knows that keeping that is almost pointless. That Zoe likes her too much and that she would never ever hate Mira. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with the what's the reason? Stop restricted my live again. What did I even say? Oh, I said killing ourselves. I said we're killing ourselves. Oh, okay. I said KMS. I said KMS. That's why. I think that's why. I think it's the AI. Say it too much times. If I say KMS, then I don't think it will get it, but a second casualty. God. It restricted it again. It restricted again. Oh my god. Is someone reporting me? Or is this the AI? Oh my god. Or whatever. Who gaff? Who gaff? Bruh, a third? Quick as heck, AI. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Okay, I will shut up. I will not say anything ever, ever again. Okay. I'll just keep going. The tree. Actually, yes. That's really good, actually. Dirt by the tree. I still have not read that. I got flashbacks. Okay, guys, too much tangent, even for Artie. We're back. Why is there 7 people in the YouTube right now? Anyway, da-da-da-da-da. She knows that keeping that a secret from Zoe is almost too much, and that she wears her heart on her sleeve, and that she would never Mira. Zoe would be ecstatic, honestly, to find out that they've been friends before. She'd probably say something cheesy like, I can't believe and that I get to be friends with you again. Yes, that is what she would say. And it would make Mira smile. Everything that Zoe says always makes her smile. But Mira hates that little chance that it would make Zoe hate her or that Zoe would leave her. How could she ever let that happen? Why would she ever take that chance? It would kill her if Zoe turned away from her and never came back because of who she was or the mistakes she's made. So she needs to keep it down. She needs to repress and hold it away and something snaps like rubber in her chest, painful and raw. Subtle Rumi's fears all those years ago of them coming true. It chokes her like chains wrapped tightly around her throat. What? What do you mean? What do you It's Mira can't find the words. The white lies won't come to help her now, and she hates herself for it. But Zoe gives her that gentle one smile, though strained at the corners. Strained. Mira can't place why, and she says, "Oh, I lose jewelry all the time. Sorry. Oh, I lose jewelry all the time. I'll help you find it sometime." Mira breathes out a laugh. It hurts her ribs like a sore kick. I lost it a while ago, Zumi. I don't think. You never know, Zoe says with a smile. Her optimistic, wonderfully Zoe like smile. It doesn't reach her eyes as much as it should, though. At least you could say that you tried, right? Especially since it was your favorite. Had it been her favorite? She hadn't really thought about that. But Zoe doesn't let her think about it for very long. Zoe takes her by the hand to lead her away with their basket of thrifted clothes to the books, or back outside, or halfway across the world. Mira doesn't care. All she cares about is making Zoe happy with a flash of her black credit card or by piggy bank riding her down the street. It hardly matters to her. The books don't interest either of them. Zoe complains about about the lack of comic books, and Emily Bronte and Franz Kafka, which would be surprising to me if she hadn't snooped through her shelves before. And they go to look at the house decor on the other side of the store. There's a few old mugs that catch Zoe's eye. She holds them up to the light and hems and haws at them. And Mira laughs. What, the mugs we got you last week weren't pretty enough? She jokes, but there's an edge of offense to her tone. She worked very hard on the mug that she gave to Zoe, and Zoe's mug still sits. So Zoe gave her mug to Mira. Fascinating. Fascinating. Of course they're pretty, Mimi, Zoe exclaims. Give Mira a scathing look, and Mira smiles as innocently as she can muster. Geez, I can't look at other mugs with you around, she jokes. Mira gives Zoe's cheek a light pinch. She doesn't know what compels her to do it, but it makes Zoe laugh, and she doesn't regret it for very long after that. They play rock, paper, scissors. Mira wins. She still grins. She pays while Zoe groans and slams her forehead against the back of her shoulder over and over. All of their thrifted clothes don't even come up to the price for a pair of socks that Mira buys at her usual shops. Girl, like I don't care that you be a little bit normal. Particularly good mood when they leave the thrift store. At least in a much better mood than after her hair fiasco. What are you smiling about? Mira asks. Zoe's smile is infectious. A smile is coming up on Mira's face before she can stop it, and Zoe beams at her when she sees it. How does it feel thrifting and going through old clothes when you could buy the entire store? Zoe muses. Can you feel it? Can you feel yourself turning into a girl in the proletarian class? Get her ass. Mira huffs and hits her gently with the bag in her hand. It makes Zoe jump forward with a squeal to get away from her, and Mira chases after her to hit her again. They make it to her car eventually. They run around her car playing cat and mouse, and Mira hasn't shouted and laughed this much in a very long time. The closest she'd gotten was when she laid in Zoe's bed, pinned down and tickled by Zoe's merciless fingers after she so arrogantly said that she wasn't ticklish. Tears had come to her eyes that day. That's Zoe's talent, she supposes, being able to make her laugh when she had been so infamously known for her scowls and dirty looks. She wants to make Zoe happy. She wants to make Zoe happy so much that she'd sacrifice her own joy for to be happy so badly that she loves her. Not a sentiment that's exactly surprising to her. She doesn't think it's been surprising for a while. Is that the first self-confession we've gotten? I guess like we've got I don't know actually gotten self-confessions. Artie, by the way, demo did not do a face reveal. Okay, I was so confused. I was very confused about that. I was like, wait, what happened? I zoned out. No, this is relating to a tweet that I made because it was like there was a tweet being like, "I can't believe that author who pushed Zoe down the stairs and like made her get hurt so badly is this pretty." Like, oh my god. And I was like, did Demo do a face reveal? I was confused too. Drew cleared it up. I see. I see. Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Okay. It's not a sentiment. She doesn't think it's been surprising for a while. I saw your comment, thought I'd let you know. Thank you, Leah. Thank you. Dude, let go of me. Dude, let go of me, Zoe shouts. But she's grinning with those playful shoves, and Mira only holds on tighter. Why? Mira asks, mocking but giddy all at once. Why would I ever let you go again and miss you for another lifetime? My claws are sharp, but I'll hide them away for you, just for you, the girl who means everything to me. Okay, Mira, you didn't have to go with that lover girl again. You're always welcome to the go lover girl though. We love lover girl Mira. Mira doesn't even mind that people are looking at them. All she sees is Zoe and the way that the sun reflects off the freckles that kiss across her face like instructions for her to put her lips on. Mira catches her eventually. She squeals and laughs and wiggles in Mira's arms, and Mira lets herself hold on to her. Zoe still smells of warmth, perfume that she likes that Mira conveniently left in her bag a couple of weeks ago. The warmth spreads around her body, spreads a she never wants to be rid of. And Zoe immediately blurts out from the passenger seat, "Oh, Rumi's landing in 50 minutes. Do you want to go get her now?" She does the math in her head. It would only take 20 minutes to drive there, 40 if they get stuck in traffic. And they probably will, she's come to learn, which means wait at the airport for a whole of 10 minutes. Because she still has to go through security checks and stuff. Anyway, she checks her watch with a frown. She wanted to take Zoe to a lunch spot that she found online. But then she remembers all the times she ran late picking up Rumi from the airport. She remembers how she'd always saying, "Why didn't you just get a chauffeur? You were almost an hour." And how Rumi would always shake her head with that forgiving smile, intertwine her fingers with hers over the center console, and admit, "I'd rather drive home with you." I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. Mira gulps down the bile that rises in her throat and shifts gears. "We can get her now," she says, her voice level. "There's that sandwich place you ate at the last time you got me at the airport, which don't ever do again. You gave me a heart attack." Zoe snickers. Mira opens her mouth to scold her some more. Something about how Zoe could have used the bus fare she used to get to the airport for her schooling, but it dies in her throat when Zoe leans over the center console to bring their fingers together. It's different from how Rumi used to do it. Zoe's more clumsy, and she presses her entire shoulder against. At least she's careful not to mess up the bracelet on Mira's wrist. Mira doesn't have a preference for either way. "Fat cells?" Zoe whoops. Mira's laughter is unrestrained. It's indecorous of a daughter like her, a daughter of one of the most powerful men in Korea, and a daughter who's been told to sit up straight her entire life, but she doesn't really care. Her parents were right about one thing. Care about wealth and status when it comes to Zoe. She's wealthy when she has Zoe's smile in her life. And she'll even be wealthier, she thinks, when she finally learns how to deal with having Rumi back in her life. POV shift, which means we're taking a break. Wait, what? Leah sneezes? No, I had seen you on TikTok before. This Leah, I had seen you on TikTok before, so I figured that you weren't Leah sneezes. But that's pretty funny. I'm gonna go get my chapstick real quick because my lips are, and also a little punishment break for me. It's not bad right now. Am I just used to it? Am I just used to it? It helped to add the water, by the way. It did. I come from the Mira crash out video. The Mira crash out video. Oh my god, welcome. The Mira crash out video is great. I had like 3 videos back to back about of wait, which Mira crash out video are you talking about? Because there's me crashing out over Mira and how much I'm attracted to her, and then there's me crashing out with the Mira roleplay account on my live. Masochism. Yeah, huh. Oh yeah. My lips are dry as fuck. Mm, Mira is so fine. I can't, like, literally. I think my favorite video of you is the chair spin crash out. And you're not biased at all, Lauren. You're not biased at all because you did take that clip. The fanfic on stage. Oh, yes. Yes. That's the Unchanging Polaris. That's also Jamie. That is also Jamie. Can't spell masochism without Artie. Yeah, totally not. Oh yeah, I love the Unchanging Polaris, and it's like me being like, you can't make me say that. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. Bye, Ryuki. Okay, y'all, I'm done. No more coffee monster breaks. Are y'all happy? Wait, is the Unchanging Polaris good? Haven't read that yet. It's really good. If you want more Jamie fluff, the Unchanging Polaris is like mostly fluff. There's like some angst, but it's like not serious at all. Thank you, Rome's. It's not like serious angst at all. They have like Rumira have this like very minor, but then like they are very happy by the end. It's like very fluff. It's very fluff. The slowest burn I've ever read. It is very slow burn, yeah. Okay, so opposite of demo spec. Real. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. Oh my god. We're oh no. We're starting the gifting race again, y'all. I get scared. I get scared. Okay. Oh my god, Rooms. Thank you, Rooms. Hang on. Oh no. Guys, should I post my should I actually post my Ko-fi? Tweeted about this, but I was like, I feel weird. Whatever. Yes, girl, do it, do it. Okay. Okay, I'll post it. I need to make like a little I need to make a proper pinned tweet. So I'll make that pinned tweet tonight. I need to stop being lazy about that. Time is valuable, but I also really like doing this, so. Um, oh my god, Lauren. Thank you. Oh, guys, I keep saying this when I said I want a sugar mommy. I meant I want to eat the rich. Lauren, Lauren, I don't know how like these are mostly worth like a few cents, so I'm like fine, it's whatever. But I, like seeing the numbers makes me really, really kind of freaked out. Whoa, whoa, what are you guys woeing at? Oh my god, Lord, how are you doing 2 at the same time? What the hell? Oh my god. Lauren, Lauren. A galaxy is about 10-ish bucks? What? What? And you keep sending me galaxies. That's crazy. This is like that one race stream where Brad kept spamming her. Living your Zoe stream dreams for real. Lol. Guys, you don't have to do this. You don't. Like, I appreciate it so much, but you don't. Like, truly, you don't. I really should do what is word anyways. My finger hurts. Lauren, stop. Lauren, stop. I appreciate it, y'all. We are in Roomy POV right now. Thank you, Cade. Cade, Cade, you are a child. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. I know you work and stuff, but like, you don't have to do it. Okay, Roomy POV. Flying has never been Rumi's favorite thing to do. She used to scream and cry about the pressure in her ears whenever she'd fly. And Celine would always chide her and tell her that was a privilege and that she needed to learn how to be happy with the privileges that she has and that flying would become a part of her life. To her credit, Celine's right. It got easier over the years, but that's only because flying internationally four to five times a week had acted like her ears still pop painfully in the air though. Still gets her neck still gets sore, her stomach still hurts whenever they land. But she doesn't mind this particular trip. Not when flying for 12 and a half hours straight means getting to see Zoe beam at her from outside. Zoe acts like paracetamol injected straight into her system. It's hard to feel tired when she's staring right into the face of sunshine. With her duffel shoulder, Rumi runs straight for Zoe. She doesn't really care if she looks desperate anymore. What matters to her is getting to hold Zoe back in her arms and touching Zoe's face and making sure that Zoe is real and safe and right there with her. She'd make the obnoxious trip down to California. Zoe crashes into her midsection, and Rumi's laugh is against her chest. She holds her tight, and she breathes in the scent of Zoe's shampoo. It's incredible how addictive the smell of her shampoo has become to her. How are you, sweet pea? Rumi gushes. She pulls Zoe back to look at her, and her fingertips underside of Zoe's jaw to look. Zoe only smiles and flutters the butterflies in her chest again. The thought almost makes her giggle. She was just working on her new song titled Butterflies a little over 12 hours ago. I should be asking you that, Zoe argues, but her smile never leaves her face. She gently hits Rumi in the chest with the side of her fist. How was your flight? Do you want to lie down in your hotel room? Because I don't mind if you need a nap or no, no, I'm fine, Rumi assures. The last thing she wants to do right now is nap, when she could be using that time to spend with Zoe, taking the rest of my luggage up to my hotel room. I just brought my duffel bag in case I spilled something on my. Zoe wants to take her to another bar and she needs to slip into her favorite backless dress. She was slacking the last time she was here. Want to repeat that mistake. And the thought of the bar makes her think of how she. Oh, they're making me say words again. They're making me say words again. Oh no. Oh no, guys, no. Oh no, they're making me. She will never be caught slacking again. They're making me say words again. There are words here, in fact. Oh no. I'm gonna cover my camera real quick to say this because I don't want to be on camera when I say this. Okay. Sorry, actually, I'll let the fire truck pass. Artie, I saw word. Words in a fic. How unconventional. Jesus Christ. Guys, did you know that I live right next to the fire station? It's not fun. Words are scary. I'm just letting the fire truck pass by. Cool. Recovering it. Okay. And the thought of the bar makes her think of how she grinded like a dog against Zoe, only 3 or 4 drinks in, and how Zoe had. Of course, you feel the need to bring an overstuffed duffel bag for a shirt changed. Her chest squeezed like lemon to a juicer, sour and hard. She isn't exactly surprised. What are you doing here? Rumi. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, sorry, that was Mira. And of course you feel the need to bring an overstuffed duffel bag for a shirt changed. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Her chest squeezes like a lemon to a juicer, sour and hard. She isn't exactly surprised. What are you doing here? Rumi demands, and her mouth feels like cotton. She still has her hands on Zoe's forearms, holding her like she's ready to yank Zoe away. She can feel Zoe giving her a light glare for it. Mira has her hands in her pockets. She looks so casual, standing there right behind Zoe, that Rumi almost wants to shake her down to get her to tense up or to make a face or something. Because I drove here, Mira answers flatly. You didn't have to do that, Rumi automatically responds. It's not hard to guess that Zoe probably asked her to drive here. Mira would have done this for without some sort of push. But she remembers when Mira used to grab her car keys and tell her dismissively, "It's what? A 40-minute a, not that long. Not that long, Mira. It's worth it when it's for you." Anyway, Zoe clasps her hands together and smiles at them both. The corners of her mouth strain and her eyes are a little bit wary, but Rumi can't really blame her for that. Their claws might not be as sharp as they were at the start, and she still doesn't like looking Mira in the eye. Part 2 of having the gang back together? How are we feeling? Zoe Rumi deadpans. At the same want to go through a wind turbine. Wait then, Mira says dismissively. She takes them both by the wrists and pulls them along as she says, "We're going to have so much fun. Oh, Rumi, we're going to an escape room tomorrow night, by the way. Make sure you dress in comfy clothes." What happened to keeping it a secret? Mira muses. It wouldn't be fair if you knew and she didn't, Zoe only says. It would have been funny, whines. You know what else would have been funny? If you crashed. Rumi snaps. Rumi! Zoe snaps back. She clamps her mouth shut. Mira snickers next to her, and before Rumi can shoot her a look, Zoe turns around and says, "And if you don't stop laughing, I'm taking your crashing all 3 of us." Mira stops laughing after that. Mira's headlights blink at them in greeting. She's the first to reach her car, and she opens the passenger seat first. Something burns like her down Rumi's windpipe. Of course, Mira still has her chivalrous side, and of course she would bring it out for Zoe. She would have expected nothing less. Zoe nudges her in the small of her back. "Go sit shotgun," she says casually. Rumi spins to look at her in alarm. "I thought we agreed last time that I wouldn't." "You guys had an entire week to get over it," Zoe says with a light roll of her eyes. She gently pushes Rumi again, and yet Rumi nearly stumbles. "I mean, if you really don't want to, I won't make you, but I figured by now that you guys were, I don't know, mellow?" "Mellow?" Mira asks incredulously. "What makes you think that we're mellow?" Zoe shrugs. "You stopped doing the SpongeBob sarcastic text thing a couple of days ago. I thought that was an obvious sign." Mira reels back, like Zoe had landed a slap across her face. "Just because I don't. I. Yeah? Like how?" Zoe challenges. Roots into her fist a second later, and turns her head away when Zoe gives her a sharp look. And Rumi, you don't make fun of Mira's building skills, Zoe says levelly. You just take whatever she wants without asking. Rumi almost yelps. It's because we needed a greenhouse. I wasn't doing it for her. It was for doesn't matter. I that we or not. Zoe complains. I want to lie down. It's been killing me all day. Zoe, she starts, exasperated. Zoe whines. Please, Rumi. She blinks up at Rumi with her wonderfully brown chocolate eyes. Rumi caves in. Rumi heaves a big sigh and she clings her duffel bag off her shoulders as she trots over to the passenger seat that Mira's still holding open. She can hear Zoe whooping. Y'all are just mad that Zoe clocked your asses. Zoe literally clocked your asses. Oh my god. Zoe is 5 seconds away from clicker training these grown women. What's clicker training? Zoe later, you two should kiss as a trust exercise. Say it like it is, period. Okay. Click, good girl. What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is, Nick. I don't know what that is, but sounds fun. Okay. Mira, they do something good and get a treat. Oh, I see. I see. I see. They use a clicker to train dogs. I see. I see. Coolio. Thank you for the explanation. Gotcha. Good girl. Oh, I bet they would like that. I bet they would have fun with them. Okay. Mira closes the door. She doesn't close it particularly hard, but she doesn't look at Rumi either. Zoe slips into the bed. She lays down and whips out her phone with a happy space in the back for her to lie down comfortably, but Rumi still reaches over to place a throw pillow on Zoe's stomach. Zoe flashes her a happy thumbs up and a smile in return. Mira slides into the driver's seat. Rumi's fingers twitch. She swears she's come toward the center console, only for it to with. Something aches like curdled. Instead, Mira puts both of her hands on the steering wheel. The conditioner feels nice in her car, and Rumi almost startled. She looks up and finds the same scent of air freshener that Mira had used 2 years ago. She almost wants to. Guys, are you okay? Should I go out and tell them to be quiet? But I don't want to interrupt their fun. She almost wants to ask about it, but what reason would she have to? It's just stupid air freshener. Mira can pick whatever stupid air freshener she wants, even if it's the one that Rumi picked out for her on their fourth date. Mira, I swear to fucking God, Mira, you are not subtle. Oh, God. Zoe talks about whatever topic comes to mind. Rumi makes sure to keep the radio low enough to hear her, and she and Mira hum and interject with a few comments here and there, but never enough to break Zoe's train. She talks about her classes, about how much she hates triggerfish, about the things her chat had said, and about how she's so excited to see the Ryu Rumi Fortnite collaboration. Of course. Of course. This is really good. I can hear you pouting. Zoe calls out. Rumi has to choke back her is, in fact, pouting. How can you hear me pouting? Mira asks in exasperation. Her wheel, and Rumi tries not to laugh again. And harder. Because I just can, Zoe says dismissively. Rumi can see her turning around to look at them in the rearview mirror. Besides, there's no need to get that jealous. I found a Kang Mira skin on Roblox, and I use it when a lot of fashion fans on Roblox. Sure, Mira remarks. And Zoe giggles. Rumi laughs too. Zoe sits up. Oh, did I tell you guys about the time that I got an insane pentakill when I was playing League the other day? So I was Nami. Hearing Zoe talk keeps them from me. I don't know League. I'm just gonna look up. Also, Rose reference. Rose was playing League the other day. Nami, oh shit, Nami. Oh my god. Nami League of Legends. Oh, oh, wait. Oh, she's cool. That's fun. Okay. Okay, I'm going back to the fic. I just want to see what she looks like. Hearing Zoe talk keeps them from getting too tense. Hearing Zoe talk keeps Rumi from thinking about all the times she's sat next to me. 5 minutes away from the comic book store, Mira's phone begins to ring. She has her phone stuffed upside down on the cup holder in the. Oh, this is the sneak peek. This is the sneak peek. This is the sneak peek. Oh my god. Oh my god. She has her phone stuffed upside down on the cup holder in the center console. Rumi almost rolls her eyes. She's told her how many times in the past to keep her phone there. Buying a stand to clip onto the vent wouldn't take that much effort, but she doesn't nag about it. Nagging about putting a phone in the car is something a girlfriend would do, and Rumi is decidedly not a girlfriend. Can you check who's calling? Mira asks without. Rumi crosses her arms and frowns at her. Mira doesn't give her the time of day, and it only makes her frown deepen. Why? Can you call them back after? Mira rolls her eyes, and Rumi almost takes a jerk. Unlike you, I don't rely on every little thing in my life, Mira says coolly, and there's no bite to her tone. Someone important could be calling me. Who could be certain that you can't just keep driving and listening to Zoe talk about the red-eared sliders? Rumi nags. Yeah, Mira, Zoe calls out through her teeth, and she replies something. That makes Rumi's tongue feel like sandpaper. The rest of her retorts die in her throat, and her shoulders drop. And it's been so long that she almost forgot how awkward bringing up Mira's family could get. She bets Mira would have felt the same if she brought up her family. Her phone is still ringing in the cup holder. It stops as soon as Rumi picks it up, but she still squints at Mira's lock screen. Let's go, baby. Her breath hitches when her eyes land on the picture that Mira set. It's a selfie with her and Zoe smiling at the camera, cheeks squished. Zoe's winking at the camera with her tongue sticking out, and Mira's looking at her with that fond, gentle smile. It's the same exact smile that Mira used to give her in their selfies together. Mira had a selfie just like this as her background with the two of them in Prague. Rumi thinks, they must be getting serious then. She doesn't know who she's more jealous of, and therein lies the problem. And with that one sentence, Jamie killed everyone. Like, oh my god. Oof is real. Oof is real. Triangulation? Well, it's not really triangulation if you desire them both. Anyway, I've tried to explain this fic to a normal human many times, Nick. It's a very funny conversation. Okay. She blinks away the thought and scolds herself. What right does she have to be bitter about that? She already knew that Mira was wooing, courting, whatever, Zoe. They made a stupid pact about it too. Rumi doesn't look at the rest of Mira's notifications out of the tiny respect that she still has for her. Her eyes land on the missed caller instead, and her lips purse. Holding back a scowl is hard, but she manages. She just hadn't realized how visceral seeing his name still feels. It's your brother, Rumi says as casually as possible. Mira chuckles under her breath. Whatever he wants, I can deal with later. Rumi almost agrees, but Mira's phone vibrates in her hand, and she checks again. Her lips curl in disgust. It's hard not to feel disgusted whenever she sees anything to do with Minho. It may just be text, but she could read it in his voice, and that's disgusting enough for her to want to throw Mira's phone out of the window. She wonders how Mira. The distaste is clear in her voice. It makes her wince, and Mira glances at her before she changes lanes. Mira doesn't bring up. She just says, "Fine, call him back." Zoe, are you fine with? Yeah, it's cool, Zoe assures. She's her phone. Rumi can't exactly blame her for feeling a little nosy. Listening to the Kong siblings speak, even over the phone, has always been a nuclear level event. Rumi questions if Zoe's ever spoken to him face to face, like Rumi had the unfortunate displeasure to. She hopes Zoe hasn't. No one deserves that kind of punishment. Rumi swipes up on her phone. She's met with numbers for her passcode, and her thumb almost instinctively types out 1014. She freezes before she can click on the first one. Thankfully, Mira notices before she can ask. It's 0000. Everything in my body just like drained out through my feet. Oh god. Zoe snorts in the back. Dude. Yeah, I second that. Rumi puts down Mira's phone on her lap to give her a look of disbelief. 0000? You couldn't pick something a little bit harder? What if someone takes your phone and they start. She's nagging again. Fuck. I keep my phone on me at all times, Mira explains. Her finger taps against the steering wheel impatiently. Who's dumb enough to take a Kong's phone anyway? Everyone is Everyone else is too scared to even look at me when I enter a meeting room. Rumi rolls her eyes. She has a lot of things she could say to that, but she doesn't want to run the risk of sounding like a nagging girlfriend again. But before she can enter 000, Mira's phone unlocks and shows her to the home screen. Mira didn't even bother to clear Rumi's Face ID from her phone? That's insane. That's insane. Rumi shakes it off as best as she can. She calls Minho back, and she holds back a snort when she realizes that Mira still has the same contact photo for her brother that she had a couple of years ago. A choking Mr. Krabs. That's really good. Oh, little spider. Little spider on my wall. Hello, little guy. Hello there. Okay. Her phone gently trills, and Rumi lowers the volume of the radio even more. No, keep it up, Mira says offhandedly, and Rumi follows her instructions. Not for Mira, but because she likes the idea of Minho having to strain his ears to listen past Zoe's playlist. Rumi hands her the phone. Mira presses it to her ear, stares a little too hard at the rings. She's lost count of how many times Mira's hands had appeared. Okay. What? Mira calls, irritation scratching her deep voice. Rumi looks out the window and pretends not to listen. Behind them, Zoe has her neck craned to listen. She doesn't seem to care and knows that she's listening, and Rumi tries not to smile at that. She's brave, she'll give her that. There's a pause in which Rumi can hear whininess on the other end, and before Mira, I told you I was out of the country. Deal with it yourself. Another pause. Then, flaunting that stupid ass SNU degree at me and then asking me to help you with something as small as a meeting is a terrible color on you, Minho. It makes hand over her mouth to keep from laughing. Oh wow, your little web. Little spider coming down on its little web. Sorry, I'm so distracted. Hello, little guy. Nice. Good job. Look at you go. Anyway. Okay. Okay. It makes Rumi snort. She slaps her hand. Zoe, on the other hand, has no such. She giggles in the back, but she does duck her head to press against her throw pillow. Mira's lips twitch into a smile until it falls again when she hears Minho retort. As brief as it was nice to see. Why can't you deal with it? You can't dump this shit on me when I warned you that I was. Mira growls. More talking on the other end. Minho sounds heated and desperate. Mira sighs, and she guides the steering wheel over a bend in the road. When and how long? They go back and forth for a while. It's entertaining just as much as it grates on Rumi's nerves to pick up the little insults that Minho throws at Mira over the phone. Even over the phone, he manages to be the smallest man who ever lived. Rumi wants to throw him against the wall and slap him over and stomp on his little head and, ugh, fine, throwing her head back to fall against her headrest. You're so fucking annoying. You owe me for this. I'll join the call in 10 minutes. Fuckhead. I'm driving and it takes me about 10 minutes to get there. Some more babbling on the other end. Rumi starts to mimic his voice with her fingers, which she shows to Zoe. Zoe giggles under her breath. It's almost a fond roll, and that grates on Rumi anymore. Yeah, whatever. Mira deadpans into the phone. Bye. She ends the call and stuffs the phone back in the cup holder. Rumi tries not to sigh about it again. One of these days, she is going to learn to take better care of her phone. Rumi's just like me. Rumi is literally just like me. I too want to punch Minho bad all the time. Sorry about that, Mira grumbles, her eyes still attached to the road ahead of them. She frowns. Zoe, I'm really sorry. There's a stupid emergency meeting that I have to get to. Rumi remembers all the emergency meetings that Mira always had to excuse herself for. Mira never believed her when she said that the Kongs would have crashed and burned without her. Mira may not be as involved as their beloved son, but she's smarter, a better diplomat than the other Kongs put together. They wouldn't have as many deals as they have now without her. It's a small, small part of why Mira stays and why they let Mira do it. Transactional relationships on either end, and Rumi's heart still breaks for her. A cat that brags about being free still comes home for food and shelter, even if they don't necessarily want to. Mira knew that she keeps her. What? What do you mean? What do you mean about that? What do you mean, Rumi? I'll keep going. What? Oh man, Zoe whines, and she puts her hand on the back of Rumi's seat at her. Does that mean you can't make it to the escape? That for the world, Mira says quickly. Zoe rewards her with a beam, and Rumi tries not to frown. I just have to sit in the car to listen to old phone while you guys head into the comic shop. I'll just be parked outside waiting for you. Are you sure you don't want to go inside? Even for batting her eyelashes. Or maybe earphones and listen to the meeting and listen to me talk about Zatana Zatara? Zumi, you know I'd love to, says, and Rumi almost feels bad at how wistful she sounds. But I have to take some stupid notes for my brother about the meeting. But if the meeting finishes early, I'll come inside. How about that? Zoe heaves out a dramatic sigh and she presses her cheek against the back of Rumi's seat. Rumi giggles under her breath, reaching over to pat Zoe on the hand. I mean, I guess if you have to, Zoe says, but there's no real malice in her voice. She huffs. Your brother sounds like a bitch, though. That makes Rumi snort again. She doesn't bother hiding it with a cough this time. God, right? Rumi says eagerly. He always sounds like he's constipated or like he wants to ring a little bell and ask someone to get him some caviar. Zoe finishes with a snort. Rumi nods up and down with so much enthusiasm that she's surprised her head doesn't come off. Right? It's not every day she can talk it's not every day she can talk shit about the son of one of the most powerful conglomerates in Korea. People around her always tell her that it wasn't nice or that Minho didn't look like the type to be rude, and it always drives her a little insane. It feels nice to be able to talk about it again without the muzzle of rich and powerful telling her to play nice. You guys really need to stop talking about my big brother like that, Mira says, her voice flat. That hushes both Zoe and Rumi in an instant. Mira makes a sharp. Talking about him makes me want to throw up, and I'd rather not. Zoe bursts into happy, unrestrained laughter, and Rumi can do nothing else but follow suit. Mira slows down as she parks in front of the small comic book store. Rumi squints at the name. From what she remembers from their texts, this place is family owned, and the rustic nature of it honestly adds to its charm. Someone comes out, cradling a couple of issues in his arms, and his girlfriend follows. They hook arms. Rumi wonders if Zoe would like to do that with her. Have fun, kiddos, Mira says sarcastically. I'll just be. She turns up the volume and starts to play. Zoe giggles as she slides. Rumi just rolls her eyes. That's not what you listen to. You like Taeyeon. Whoa, T. I don't know what you're talking about, Mira answers quickly, turning up the volume even more. Zoe gasps. You do? Why didn't you tell me? I have an entire playlist with. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, hey, the meeting is starting soon. Mira shouts out, and somehow the volume turns up even more in her car. So I can play either Sabrina or Taeyeon at the end of this. Okay. Rumi laughs under her breath as she gets out of the car. She holds out her hand to help Zoe step out of the car, and she whispers to her, Send me the playlist when you have the time. Always got you, Bubs, Zoe says happily. Zoe holds the door open for her with a blown kiss, and Zoe giggles so much about it that it makes Rumi giggle too. I'm going to take a little break, but they're going into the comic book store right now. I need to stop zoning out so much. You're good. I zone out all the time. I think I suddenly became dyslexic. Literally how I told my parents I got diagnosed in uni, I suddenly became dyslexic. um, Thank you for being kind to Spider. Of course. He's just a little guy. He did disappear though. Where are you? I'm not kind to roaches, but I'm kind to spiders. Because spiders are actually helpful. Streets are saying Honman TV and Dispatch just got married. This is news to me. I'm not surprised. They had some kind of chemistry between them. They had that attraction. I could sense it. I could sense it. Sorry, Kang Mira responded to my tweet being like, I drank the cold brew with Monster and chat called red on me. And they just said, now why would you do that? Because I do anything for the bit. Because I do anything for the bit. No roaches get no mercy from me either. Yeah. Yeah, roaches can all die. Rose is being funny. I'm just checking Twitter while I take a little break for myself. I love spiders, but I don't like roaches. Yeah, spiders, especially the little ones, like the chill ones that hang around. They're fine. We have a little friend in our bathroom. I don't know if that friend is still there. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go back. Zara. I'm just seeing the comments on the YouTube. I use YouTube mostly for archival. I know you're always in the YouTube. Okay. The door jingles to announce their arrival, and the first thing that Rumi notices is how much color there seems to be around the tight space. Obviously, a comic book store would have comic books, but there's so many that she's instantly overwhelmed. Ink and incense, and the radio plays through the speakers scattered above them. Zoe takes her hand along all the brightly colored books and, "Hey Marty, did anything good come in this week?" Sign in the corner and rattles off some of the. Rumi can hardly keep up, but she doesn't miss the way that Zoe's eyes light up when she hears something about Wolverine. She keeps that in mind. Figurines are lined up in glass cases throughout the store. Rumi walks up to one, and Zoe hums in approval. Zoe remarks, "I've been dying to have that 10th grade, but $700 is highway robbery if you ask me." Only 700? She would have assumed there were a couple of more zeros. "Don't buy me that, by the way," Zoe automatically says. "I wasn't," Rumi replies, a little bit offended. Deserves more than a measly $700 figurine. She can find something bigger and better, but not in that way. He likes. Then Zoe tugs at the wrist and she starts to prattle off. "They have everything divided up here really nicely, if you ask me. Back there are all the kiddo comic books, Little Pony and everything. And then over here are all the DC ones. And then here you'll find the Marvel ones. And there's this section over here for Skybound. They also have some D&D stuff if you're interested. I've DM'd a." Rumi's head is spinning and it's spinning fast. Rumi is just listening to this, being like, "I definitely know what those words mean. I for sure know what those words mean. Uh huh." Then Zoe tugs her by the wrist and she starts to prattle off. They, sorry. I already read that. Sorry. For once in her life, she feels out of her depth. She's known what she had to do ever since she learned how to form memories. Studios and movie sets have been her friend since before she could speak. And singing into a mic comes so easily that it's hard not to sing when thrusts a mic in front of her. Rumi could sign autographs in her sleep, and smiling for selfies for fans that stop her on the street comes so naturally that she doesn't remember what her real smile looks like sometimes. But comic books? Video games? Zoe's world? She has. Zoe doesn't ever let her. Whenever Rumi goes too quiet, and she slows down whenever she notices the lost look on Rumi's face. She never makes fun of Rumi for knowing things. She never turns up her nose or looks at her like she's being difficult or sighs in mild irritation. It's different from what Rumi is used to. Incredibly different, if she's being honest. Celine has never been mean to her. In fact, she's never known anything less than a full belly and toy chests so full that her greatest dilemma as a child was always to deliberate which toys she plays with. But sometimes she could feel it, the pressure, the need for Rumi to be good, even when Celine never says it, the need to repent, the need that drives every trick and bark that she plays for the crowd. Even her tutors do it. She's gotten so good at noticing how they press their lips together or subtly click their tongue her feet on the wrong count that she could pinpoint it. Absolutely anything she could ever ask of her for it. Crazy if you haven't read any of the other Batman, but it's not like someone's going to arrest you for starting there. Zoe jokes. She looks at all the Batman spines on a bookshelf. There's so many that Rumi can't find one to focus on. But then Zoe turns to look at Rumi with that gorgeously uncritical smile, and she asks, "Have you read?" If you haven't, Rumi clicks her tongue and thinks for hasn't had much time recently with her busy schedule. But Bobby always remembers to place a stack of comic books somewhere. He really needs to get that man a raise someday. I've read Nightfall, she volunteers, lights up at that. And you something with Halloween in the title? The Long Halloween? Zoe guesses. Her eyes are glittering with that specific kind of Zoe joy again. Smile and nod. Zoe rocks on her feet, back at the spines of the comic books in front of them, and she babbles, "Well, you've read plenty of good ones, honestly. There's also The Killing Joke. Something. Oh, A Death in the Family is a goodie. Dark Victory, No Man's Lands, and hmm." Rumi latches onto Zoe's words like barnacles on a turtle. She can't get enough of what Zoe has to say, even when she doesn't understand half or most of what she's saying. She lets Zoe keep babbling, even when her mind shifts away from Rumi's interest in Batman comics to how cool the Superman comics are, like All Star and Rebirth, or how Supergirl's Woman of Tomorrow might be of interest to her. And then Blackest Night goes crazy hard, and Immortal Thor is a close second, and Moon Knight by Jed McKay pulling close up on her top 10 list, and Zoe reaches for her hand. Her fingers slide over the bump of her bracelet. It's something she tends to do a lot, Rumi's noticed. She likes to squeeze Rumi's hand or arm or whatever part of her she can find to shake and squeal with her joy, like she physically can't contain it. Rumi has always adored that about her. But this time, Rumi tugs her hand away. Reflex. Public. They're in public. She has to protect her. She doesn't think Zoe would mind it anyway. Hopefully, she'd just think that Rumi is shy. Instead, Zoe's mouth clamps shut, and her words fade away. Rumi startles in surprise. Having Zoe stop in the middle of her rambles feels a lot like when the backtrack stops working when she's on confusion, fear, and panic galore. "Oh," Zoe says, breathless and subdued, like Rumi had just slapped her across the face. It makes Rumi frown. "Sorry, you didn't come here to listen to me yap your ear off for an hour. We're here to put you on some good literature. Anything by Al Ewing might float your boat, but if you're looking into older stuff, like maybe pre-crisis, there's Zoe," Rumi whispers, and she's still obsessed with the way that Zoe's name rolls off her tongue. Zoe, Zoe, Zoe. It's a beautiful name. Sweet Pea and Jagia and Bubby sound nice too, but they aren't Zoe. There's a reason why she has a song in the works titled Z. Would she ever produce and post it? Probably not. Just like her song M hasn't seen the light of day in over 3 years, and it most likely never will again. Mm. Hmm. Mm. My God. It's in her heart and in the private recordings in her studio, and that's all she needs. It's more of a vent piece than anything else. If she hadn't sung about how she felt at least once, she would have exploded and turned to dust right on the spot. She says softly, I came here because telling me everything and anything you knew about these comics. Like you do when you tell me about Sea Life and about PCs and about your new Gunpla. Gunpla, Zoe corrects. She blinks. Then she blinks. Oh, you actually got that right. She gushes in pleasant surprise. I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder why she got the Gunpla right. I wonder why. Rumi laughs under her breath, squeezes her hand again, and amends. Yes, Gunpla. I like how you talk about your new Gunpla addiction, even though you've never held one and you won't let me buy you. If you ever buy me any, I'm blocking you, Zoe cries. Rumi laughs again. Zoe's always so silly, and she likes that about her. Point is, I like it. I like when you tell me about everything that you like, she admits, and Zoe's hand goes limp in hers in shock. I know you probably don't want to hear me say it, but it makes me feel like I could keep a tally on all the things I could get you someday. So I could spoil you and get you everything you could never. Rumi, Zoe whines. Just a little bit more breathlessness and it Why are you saying things? Just a little bit more breathlessness and it would have sounded just like that night when Rumi chokes the thoughts back. Good. It's true, Rumi argues, voice pitched high. She looks behind them, notices the way Zoe's face falls for a moment, then reaches out to squeeze Zoe's hand. It feels like recompense for all the times she forgot to hold Mira this tight. Ugh! I know I'm not I know I'm not someone who deserves you, but I want you to have everything because you are everything. I tear myself apart for you. But it's a lot to say at a small comic book store, especially when she's jet lagged and hasn't had enough sleep. To you, I don't want you to think anything different. And I'm suddenly in Rumi's private account again. Only Jamie can make a fluffy date filled with more angst than fluff. No, real, real, real. Oh. Ugh. Sorry, I'm reeling. What happened? I just got back. Incredibly, what is it called? Not self-hating, but like self-hating, but oh, I forgot the word for it. Jamie, when I catch you gently, self-deprecating. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. The thing about being bilingual is that you forget words in both languages. Yeah, Rumi's being self-deprecating and I'm feeling sick about it. Reef! Hi, Reef! Guys, Reef is here. Reef is here and she's not gonna stay here for too long because I'm reading Candyfloss. But hi, Reef. Hi, Reef! Everyone bombard Reef with love. Reef is here. Reef is here. Yeah, I won't distract you. Distracts you. Only thing for Reef to do. Said lovingly. Said lovingly. Love you, Reef. Love you, Reef. Mwah. Mwah. Okay, I away now. Okay. Bye, Reef. Um, okay, it's gonna get even worse, I think. Have fun, chat. Okay. I don't want you to think any different. Yeah. First thing that Rumi thinks is that she fucked up somehow. She's already thinking the worst. That Zoe is going to tell her to get out and to block her and that she's never going to listen to her. He will never get to hug her and have the opportunity to kiss her someday. And but Zoe just presses her forehead against her shoulder and she laughs. It's a wet laugh, the kind of laugh that's both relief and sadness all at once. Rumi wants to make it all better for her. I was I was always the first one to be shushed in class. She mumbles against Rumi's shoulder. Rumi's heart breaks into two at sounds. No one really liked listening to me talk about anything. I could see it in their eyes, like how they glazed over when I started talking for longer than 2 seconds. Zoe, they're just Rumi strains. No! Guys, no. Guys, I pulled an Artie again. No! No. This is good, actually. Oh, hi. Hi, YouTube, by the way. So I have to rely on. It's because I can never get into TikTok. Oh, I see. Well, Tegan, if you're still here, then you're enjoying my presence while TikTok is down because my phone died. The fudge. My phone is loading, but it's very weird. Did it just update? My phone just updated. My phone just updated. Okay. We're going back. I live another 50 years. I'm still here. Oh my god. You're a champ. Oh, resume. Okay. We're back. Guys, guess who pulled an Artie again? Guess who pulled an Artie again? Everyone spam like the live until she gets back. I pulled an Artie again. 1 minute of silence for Artie's phone. How long was I gone? That was pretty quick, actually. My phone died, which has happened twice before on streams. So I'm just calling it pulling an Artie. Hi, Rome's. Artie, it's been 7 years. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Sorry, now Gina responded to me being like, Artie? What's up? That was actually nice because whenever one dies twice, it was 84 years ago. Silent for a second, and that's actually pretty helpful for me. Where's Gio? Jonghyun. Okay. Oh my god, twice. Okay, let's go back. We were just in a very like um emotional spot as well. So, hmm. Okay. I was here. Okay. No one really liked listening to me talk about anything. I could see it in their eyes, like how they glazed over when I started talking for seconds. Zoe, they're just Rumi strains. She wants to say asshole so bad, but she knows Zoe has a heart big enough to wave it off and tell her that it's not their fault that they don't like listening to her. But you and Mira don't do that, Zoe says carefully. She peers up with Rumi. She peers up to Rumi with those pretty eyes. You two always take care of me. Sometimes I wish we were friends sooner, but now is good. Zoe squeezes her hand. The smile that comes up onto her face makes Rumi's heart squeeze too. Now is great, Rumi says gently. Giggling, Zoe presses her cheek against her shoulder again. If there's one thing that she can count on Zoe to do with her, it's to be wonderfully clingy and giving. For any sort of affection. Zoe gives it freely and happily, and Rumi will never understand how. But she adores that quality in Zoe. She adores it so much that she thinks that maybe she really does love. Zoe takes her by the hand and to another section in the store. She's happily babbling, and everything feels all right in Rumi's world now. Rumi nods along to all of Zoe's suggestions for comic books to buy. She doesn't a single book. Zoe repays her with those big smiles. Step. Her arms are starting to get tired when Zoe adds the 20th Spider Man issue to the pile in her arms. She thanks Mira in the back of her mind for giving her a great arm routine for the gym all those years ago. She still uses it, and clearly it's helping her arms like this. She'd rather not look weak. She wants Zoe to know that she could carry all of her comic books for her. I need Mira's gym routine bad. I need Mira's gym routine. Rumi ends up with a stack of comic books as high as her forearm by the end. How doesn't she spill them all across the floor is beyond her, and it immediately makes her think of the time where she spilled all her nerdy books and her love interest helped her pick them up and touched her hand, and they shared that intimate look with an OST playing softly in the background. Rumi's suddenly tempted to accidentally spill the comics on the floor. Oh, yay. This is great. But then Zoe would probably cry out something about how the perfect condition of the comics has been ruined and that she needs to get new ones, and she beats down the thought with a carnival hammer. They spill the comic books on the counter. The cashier's eyes pop out of his head. Are you getting all of this? He asks, pointing a shaky finger at the giant stack of comic books. Rumi nods once. She pulls out her black credit card, and the cashier nearly faints on the spot. Zoe is holding onto her arm, and she shakes Rumi around with a light squeal. You're going to get so addicted to these, she says with a snicker, shaking Rumi some more. I hope you talk. uh, Um, wait, wait. Oh. You're Rumi first. You're going to get so addicted to these, she says with a snicker more. I hope you talk about them on your lives sometime. Comics? Is that a thing? Rumi chuckles and says, I can probably talk about it. It wouldn't be the same though. Thank you. It wouldn't be the same though. She can feel Zoe's frowning close to her shoulder. Zoe asks, "What do you mean?" "I'd rather talk to a pretty nerdy girl about these comics than to 1,000 people on a live stream," she drawls, her smile curled on her lips. Sorry, she's smooth as fuck. She's smooth. Why lie? Oh my god. She waits for Zoe to coo, or squeal, or hit her in the arm to get her to stop, or praise her classic Ryurumi charm. But Zoe accuses, "Did you just call me a nerd?" Classic Zoe. Ruby turns to look at her. She drops her credit card on the counter and it clatters like hard steel. The cashier whistles in shock to fumble through her words with, "What, saying that you were really that I wanted flirt with you," would have been its tail end, but Rumi doesn't have enough wine in her system to spill something as bold as that. Rumi laughs in the face of Rumi's torment. She teases, "Hey, good thing you said that you liked nerdy guys in that interview a couple years ago, huh?" Rumi freezes. Sometimes she forgets that Zoe is a die-hard fan of hers until she casually says things like that and she gets embarrassed all over again. God, she really needs to start asking Bobby to take down those interviews. She was such a cringy teen. Rumi clears her throat as Zoe continues to giggle, and she stuffs her credit card back into her wallet. The cashier squints at her face as he hands over the receipt and makes her sign it. And Zoe pulls her hood over her face some more to cover it up. Rumi hauls the stack of comic books into her arm and they wave at the cashier. Before Zoe can open the door, Rumi calls out, "Wait!" Zoe pivots on her heel to look at her with that inquisitive tilt of the head, and Rumi not to giggle. She turns the comic books until she can see the titles on the spines, and Rumi's fingers drag over them to pick out one, then six, then 10 of the titles to place on the tower. Then she hands over 10 comic books to Zoe. "You said you'd never read these, but you really wanted to because you heard good things," Rumi says proudly. She points at one, then explains, "There's Seven, Punisher, the Miles Morales one that you want to start, Black Cat with the Hitchum Hopchi? Hickam Hopkey? Guys, I don't know comic books. Hitch the poor cash um Hopchi or Hickam Hopkey. I'm so sorry. The wind rattles out of her chest. Zoe's arms wrap around her in a tight hug, and Rumi's laughter comes out in breathless puffs. The comics nearly topple over in her arm, carried enough scripts with one hand to be able to balance the stack just in time. Then Zoe looks up at her with those shining brown eyes and write endless songs about them for the rest of her life. You knew about the comic book you knew about the comic book store's refund policy. Wait. You knew about the comic book store's refund policy. Zoe deadpans, but her eyes shine in that amusing little way and Rumi giggles. The store only accepts refunds when one returns all the comic books they purchased instead of just an issue. Oh my god! She had an entire corkboard in her room, planning this very thing out from the start. Her plan to get Zoe some comic books that had been set in motion from the minute that Zoe told her her plans for her next visit in California. There's so many sticky notes in her room that her floor is still covered in them. Something like that, Rumi says cryptically, and she gives Zoe's arm a gentle squeeze. When her birthday comes around soon, Rumi can't wait to spoil her some more. Come on, we don't want to keep Mira. Oh, I don't get it. She can't return them. And like Rumi Rumi basically So like the books, the comic books can't like return them. Um, so Rumi is basically like making a promise to like read them, like and keep them. I get it. I don't know comic. Yeah, it's sweet. Sweet in the rich person way. That's the first time she said Mira's name without any form of poison. It's an interesting development, but it's not one that she chooses to linger on for very long. And Mira is indeed waiting for them. Happy belated Forgive Your Ex Day. Happy belated Forgive Your Ex Day. For real. Rumi watches her reach across the seats to pull open the passenger door, something she'd always done when they were dating. Courteous, charming Mira, who never seems to outgrow her own habits. Rumi presses her hand on the small of Zoe's back and urges her into the passenger seat. She doesn't have the energy to sit beside Mira this time, and Zoe seems to know it. With Zoe in the passenger seat and Rumi sprawled in the back with her stack of comic books buckled in for safety, something that makes Zoe giggle while she places her small stack on her lap, Mira continues to nod into her phone. She holds up her finger to ask Zoe and Rumi to be quiet. Then, after a I'll follow up with my brother tomorrow. See you next week. She stuffs her phone back into her cup holder, and Rumi puffs out the side of her saying anything. Somehow, Mira always finds her, even when she doesn't say anything. How was comic? Asks, casual as ever. She stretches her arm over her head and yawns. The meeting must have taken out more out of her than she cares to admit. So fun! Look! Ruby duped me into getting all these comic books, Zoe says, half proud and half disgruntled. She lifts her stack to show Mira, and Mira leans over to thumb through the spines one by one. Rumi braces for an insult, or something about how Rumi isn't playing fair, or that Rumi should have bought the comic book shop like she would have if she wanted to actually impress. Nice, Mira says, jazzed about it, but she doesn't sound like she wants to argue with Rumi in the middle of the street. Rumi's shoulders drop in relief, but the rear view mirror, nothing gives her away in suspicion. Nice? Something wrong, princess? Mira asks. She starts the car, and it comes to life with a satisfying purr. It's not like you drop. It's not like you to drop something like that. Rumi quirking an eyebrow. Mira glances at her again. The corner of her lips twitch, and she looks back towards the road. Rumi almost feels offended. Mimi? Mimi? Zoe says, her voice sickeningly sweet. What did you do? Why do you two always assume that I did something? Mira asks with a groan. She pulls out onto the street, and Rumi notices that the GPS is already leading them somewhere. They hadn't talked about where to go yet, so that's a little. Because you always do something, Zoe argues. She pivots in her seat to look directly at Mira with a glare. I'm giving you 5 seconds. If you don't, I just booked us a reservation. Geez, Mira exclaims, throwing a hand up in the air. It lands back on the steering wheel with a heavy thump, and Mira shakes her head. She's smiling, even though Rumi can tell that she's doing her best not to. They have my card with them, before you ask. Why didn't you ask me first before Rumi starts in exasperation? Because you bought her comic books. Mira flicks her hand on the turn signal. It's a good trade. Depends on where you're taking us to eat, Rumi shoots back. The comics weren't that expensive. Rumi, the total was almost $700. That's crazy. $700 worth of comics is wild. Rumi, Zoe points out, But she doesn't sound surprised at Rumi's lack of financial information. Exactly, exactly. Not that expensive, Rumi says with a resolute nod of her head. She slumps against the window and crosses her arms. She's still staring into the back of Zoe and Mira's heads. And knowing you, you're probably taking us somewhere expensive to make down, Mira chides with a roll of the eye. He always reaches over to choke her to death. It's not the kind of place my parents would take me. It's a local steakhouse that Zoe said she wanted to go to a while back. Aw, you remembered? Zoe gushes. Mira chuckles and she answers, I remember everything you tell me that you like. Mira sounds so mushy. Rumi holds her nose and rolls her eyes. She doesn't understand why her chest burns. It must be the lack of air conditioning in the back. I remember everything you tell me that you like, Mimi, Zoe exclaims, and Rumi's chest burns yet again. She should probably ask Bobby to tell her soon, just in case. What do I like? Mira challenges. Me, for one thing, Zoe jests. And Rumi almost snorts when she sees Mira's hands go briefly taut on the steering wheel in panic. But I also know that you actually like to sing. Your twice bias is Geo. Good taste. You still like Geo? Rumi blurts out. Her voice sounds edged with a blade. She coughs into her hand to make it stop. Minus Diane. Zoe volunteers. Predictable, predictable. Zoe volunteers, and Rumi glares into the back of Zoe's head without meaning to. Mira catches her eye with the mirror. Rumi drops the glare, but Mira rolls her eyes. Zoe shimmies in her seat to get comfortable again, and she lists off the rest of Mira's likes. Anyway, you don't like Monster, but you'll drink the purple one if you have to. I do not like the purple. I hate the color purple, Zoe. What the hell are you talking about? And you like funfetti icing, and your favorite pair of pajamas is the one with choo-choo trains and teddy bears on them. Mira stiffens. And I think I know why. I think I know why. Car acts like adhesive in the air was. And I lost them a while back. It's like it's no big deal. Like Rumi hadn't stolen them from her more than a couple times over the years because of how comfy they were. She's seen Mira nearly rip Minho to shreds when he tried to touch them once a couple of years ago. And for whatever reason, Mira lost them again without her. Hope you find them soon, Mira, Zoe says sincerely. She intertwines her fingers with Mira's over the console, and Rumi almost laughs at how pouty Mira looks. Whatever happened to looking nonchalant? Oh, I can help you find them. I already promised that I'd help you look for your. It's fine, Zoe, Mira replies. She blinks rapidly at the road, and Rumi frowns. I was going to see if I could find a tailor who could make a replica of them. Probably not going to be as good as what I had, but good enough, I guess. Then Rumi blurts out, Did you look on top of your bathroom shelf? Mira glances at her and Zoe full on looks over her shoulder. Rumi shrugs helplessly. She can feel herself getting warm under Zoe's inscrutable gaze. She always loses them up there because she likes to keep them on the shelf before she showers to keep them from getting humid or whatever. She defends herself using air quotes. She starts to stumble when Zoe just keeps staring and Mira doesn't say anything. Well, Mira probably looked up there anyway, Rumi says, glancing out of her window. With her arms crossed, her fingers tap on her bicep impatiently. I was just stating the obvious, I guess. It's not. I'll keep that in mind, Mira mumbles. Her eyes are laser focused on the road ahead. I did. Rumi swallows. Glad I could. Isn't this great? Zoe gushes, looking back you guys' first civil-ish conversation. We're about to have so many more in the escape room. Mira and Rumi chuckle dryly at the same time. Mira starts, I don't think that's gonna. We will have many more in the escape room, Zoe says, her voice tight and serious. She glares at them both. Right? Rumi clamps her mouth shut before she can say anything else. Yeah, of course, Zoe, she answers instead. Zoe beams again, and off they go to the restaurant that Mira had paid for, not just for her and Zoe, but for her, Zoe, and Rumi. Rumi doesn't know how to feel about it. She still doesn't know how to feel about it when they walk up to the quaint restaurant and Mira holds open the door for Zoe, who laughs and thanks her with a kiss on the cheek. And when Mira keeps holding the door open so that Rumi can pass by too, there's no cheek kissing between them, obviously, but Rumi makes sure to give her a terse nod as subtle thanks. She may dislike room as Mira, but Celine had taught her the correct manners. Rumi tries not to think about how she could feel Mira's gaze on the back of her neck as she walks in, warm in that uncomfortable way. Rumi still doesn't know how to feel about the whole thing when they sit down and order their food. And Mira starts to cut up her steak when Zoe, squishy cheeks full like a hamster, about the history of comic prices going from 10 cents in the 50s to $6 in the modern day, only to trade plates with Zoe so that Zoe has a full plate of cut up meat. It's something that Mira used to do for her too, way back when. She's at least grateful that Zoe is getting the same treatment. Zoe deserves it. But she really, really doesn't know how to feel when Mira doesn't cut up a steak for her like she did for Zoe, but still passes her the salt and a few napkins before Rumi can ask for them. They don't really interact with each other beyond that. Zoe talks for a good chunk of their lunchtime, but she doesn't seem to mind, especially when Mira and Rumi prove to her that they're still listening with interjections of their own. She seems to have learned that forcing them to talk to each other wouldn't do any good, and it helps. Exactly, already surreal enough. It doesn't feel like she had to be sitting this close to her, but she is. It's a hard concept to wrap her mind around, so her mind does what it does best, pretends that she doesn't exist. Mira bids farewell to the giddy staff before they leave. Knowing her, she probably tipped them a couple thousand. Rumi would have done. If a wait staff were nice to Zoe, food was up to Zoe's liking, of course they would be rewarded handsomely. Mira drives Zoe home first when she whines about needing to finish up some work she hasn't done. Zoe also forbids them, as she probably knows that Mira and Rumi would fight about it, and Rumi reluctantly commends her for the smart choice. The drive back to their hotel is awkward, to say the least. They have nothing to say to each other, besides Rumi asking if she could connect her phone. Really have anything to say to each other. At least anything that wouldn't instigate something that boils and burns. Oh, you might have heard sirens. Like I said, I live next to a fire station. Oof. In what way it would burn is up to a flip of a coin. The burn of their breakup or the burn of what they heard just a week ago. They've always been good at ignoring. It sucks that they're staying in the room stuck together. But that's what happens when the Kongs own a portion of the building and Sunlight Entertainment owns the other portion. Guys, you got to be better at selecting your rooms. Y'all got to be better at selecting your rooms, guys. Rumi spends the next couple of hours looking over scripts and scribbling lyrics in her notebook. Otherwise, it's a pretty easygoing day for her. She's lucky that Celine thinks she's here to promote to the western side of her fan base with videos of her walking through the streets of California and meeting with fans. But she also knows that Celine isn't stupid. Celine probably knows she's here for ulterior motives, despite her reassurances that she's here for campaigns and interviews. But Celine had promised not to interfere with what she thinks is best. and Rumi is grateful for it. Even if her chest feels tight at the thought of fucking up, she's grateful for the small pockets of air that she can breathe in. I'm gonna plug my here. Here you go. Her TV hums with the sound of a random episode of her favorite sitcom. It's wonderful background noise to use while she recites parts of the script to herself, and it should hopefully cover up her mumbles to keep Mira from hearing her argue against an invisible boyfriend from the script. Bobby calls her in the middle of her script reading. She lets her phone rest in the crook of her neck while she talks to him about her next week's schedule and a revision on Zoe's father's contingency plan in case he falls ill again, including instant texts from the hospital in case someone in the Choi household is rushed to the ER again. When her eyes start to blur from staring at the scripts for too long, Rumi orders room service. She's still full from the steakhouse, but she needs to hit her protein goals for the day. She orders grilled chicken and salad on the side, and Rumi jumps back into bed to put another episode on the TV while she waits. On the other side of the wall, she can hear Mira playing music. She's probably choreographing something to cure her boredom, or just playing music loud enough to bother her. Rumi tries not to roll her eyes. Then her phone buzzes. Rumi digs into her pajama pocket, eyes still staring at the TV in front of her. She turns it on with two rough taps of of her thumb, then chuckles under her breath at the joke made in the scene. She tears her eyes away to check the notification. Zoe sent a photo to the group chat. On her lock screen. What? Bubbles to herself. She sits up and swipes to check on it. She chews on her thumbnail when she does. On the other side of the wall, the music stops playing. Zoe, just one text. A blurred photo with glitter on it? What? Rumi repeats, baffled. I know what that means. Why would Zoe send her something that's that blurry? Is it a joke? A meme? What about the shower thing? Well, Zoe likes to tell her that she just got out of the shower and that she didn't slip. It never comes with a photo. Her phone vibrates again. Mira this time, in their private DMs. Her contact name's been changed since then, thankfully, after she finally got the courage to change it. Or more like Bobby did it for her, but at least she asked him, Mira, you know those things? The ones Ruminator 994. This is a text chain. I'll just read their messages. You know those lottery ticket things? The ones you can scratch with a coin? Yeah. Do that with your finger on the photo Zoe sent. Why? Are you going to trust me or not? Decidedly not. You're lost then. I was just trying to help you. Whatever. Whatever. Rumi purses her lips when she reads the message. Always so childish. I don't have an Apple, but I would definitely use that feature if I had an Apple. That is such a fun feature. But then she opens the group chat again, and for whatever reason, Mira has yet to reply. She always replies when she sees Zoe's messages. It's a silent competition between them both in that group chat, honestly, to see who could reply to Zoe's messages first. Rumi frowns at her phone. She grabs the remote to turn down the volume of the TV, then peers back at the messages Zoe sent. Still no follow up text from Zoe, which is even odder. What does the glitter mean? It just means the photo is like censored. There's like glitter over the photo, and you have to. I guess you could have asked that before I read out the text conversation. Anyway, Rumi frowns at her phone. She grabs the remote to turn down the volume of the TV, then peers back at the messages Zoe sent. Still no follow up text from Zoe, which is even odder considering she likes to triple, quadruple, and quintuple text them at times, and nothing from Mira. Not even a thumbs up reaction to Zoe's text, which she sometimes does when she's busy at shoots. She thinks back to what Mira said about scratching the photo, whatever that meant. She looks around her room, straining her ears for any sign of someone coming up to sneak on her. She's being paranoid, that much is obvious, but the way that both Mira and Zoe are acting is starting to put her on edge. Rumi uses her forefinger to swipe back and forth on the photo. And lo and behold, Mira was right. It does reveal something. In particular, it reveals a cropped photo of Zoe, waist up, hair still damp, and her shoulders glistening with water droplets. She's only wearing a sports bra. She took it in the middle of getting dressed. Stuffed between her cleavage are two photos, a Rirumi photo card and a glossy photo in a similar size of Kang Mira. Not Zoe doing the photo card trend. Not Zoe doing the photo card trend. Rumi and Mira are dead. Rumi and Mira are dead right now. Rumi chokes on air. She drops her phone on her lap and pounds at her chest. She's practically seizing with how hard her throat constricts, and her heart starts to thump against the side of her neck like a painful cyst. Of everything that Zoe could have sent, she wasn't expecting that. Again, Zoe had sent them a photo of her still in her towel, pouting at the camera a couple of days ago. The day before that, she sent a picture of her reflection in the bathtub faucet, her more private areas covered conspicuously by bubbles from her bubble bath, as if Zoe had planned the shot. Ever since their first trip out last week, ever since they told her what happened the week before, Zoe had gotten bolder. Crazy thing to. What do you mean? That's wild. Zoe, that's crazy. Zoe, what? I want that conversation as well. That's crazy. That Zoe has no shame. Zoe is like, oh my god, wait, do you guys find that hot? Zoe definitely knows the part they didn't tell her. It would make sense. Hey girl, so here's what you did. Cool. Up with it. From the noiselessness on the other side of the room, Rumi wonders if Mira is coming to the same conclusion. No. Oh no. Oh, it would be very funny if they did the tears trend. It would be very funny if they just did the tears trend. Zoe's so friendly. Oh my god. Okay. Cool. Okay. Rumi groans as she picks herself up from the bed, and she checks her phone screen one more time to see if the photo is still there. It is, and Zoe had sent another message with a smiley face. She'll think of something to reply with after a quick. If not, she hopes that Mira does at least. She doesn't want a redo of last week. She doesn't want to feel the way that she did last week when she had been so close to crawling or so she could pretend that Mira's fingers were Zoe's, that Zoe was in between them. That's what I thought was gonna happen. See, now that's triangulation. Rumi rapidly blinks the thought away. She needs to wash the shame off her body. In the bathroom, she starts the same routine she always does before her showers. The locket color that she wants to be rid of, even if it's only for half hours at a time. And then the bracelet. The ink on the inside of her thigh is hidden so well when she keeps her legs this tightly close together. It's so wild to me that that's where her tattoo is. Anyway, she can hear the shower running on the opposite side of the wall. Rumi thinks bitterly, "You must feel so lucky that you're free. that you can have Zoe all to yourself without me. And we have a little POV shift to Mira at the very end of the chapter. There's pining, and then there's whatever the hell this is. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the other rooms could hear them through the walls. Probably. Listen, my neighbors having sex all the time. Like, it is pretty easy to hear people. Oh, it's a 5-star hotel. Those walls are, I guess. That's traumatizing. I mean, you get used to it. It's New York. It's New York. Let's read this last section because we're very close to the end. 5-star for a reason, I guess. But Mira stares at her reflection in the mirror. Her bare body is as desirable as everyone says it is. She's not blind to the clamors of people that beg her to show more of herself online. She knows how many people want her body. She knows how many people would kill for the slip of her shoulder or a peek at the ink that sits on her smooth skin like a mark. But the rest of her body is unmarred. Her necklace is the bracelet is sitting on the counter, hidden away in a jewelry box that she bought just for it out of paranoia. Just one swipe of concealer could remove the brand on her shoulder just like that, and she could be a free woman. There's a stick of concealer next to her sink for a reason, but Mira doesn't reach for it tonight. Her body feels too frozen in place as she stares at her reflection. She hears Rumi turn the squeaky knob for her shower. The light spray of water, joined with the one next to her, startles her out her thoughts. But before she slips into the shower, Mira looks at herself in the mirror one last time. She thinks she feels so lucky that the entire world loves you without me. They are more likely than they think. I feel sick. I feel sick. That's the end of the chapter. The notes are so funny. Ah, young puppy love. Surely nothing will ever go wrong with Rumira being in love again. It hurts, but it is so good. It is very good. Next, you'll get a few revelations that I think you'll like. Finally, we're getting Locket stuff. We're getting Locket stuff, guys. I think I am gonna do that late night live. I think I am gonna do that late night live because stuff bad. But what could go wrong in an escape room anyway? They'll be fine. Okay, let's read the snippet and then let's go. Chapter snippet 13. It's very short, but I'm scared. I'm The conversation turns and alcohol tolerance. Already off to a good start, which Rumi stumbles through with awkward laughs and polite refusals to drink again on TV. The hosts don't seem to realize the weight of Rumi's confession, and Rumi seems to be trying oh so desperately to do the same. Zoe surprises her again. She turns to look at Mira, eyes with that gentle crinkle at the corners, and I know about yours now. Can I ask you about Rumi's? I feel like I just got shot 67 times. Oh, that's cold. That's cold. That's cold. Oh my god. Guys, so Zoe potentially finds out about what's in Rumi's locket before Rumi does. Potentially. I don't think Mira will tell her. Stabbed like Mira. Artie, you should check your mentions on Twitter. Just tagged you in something Demo said. Okay. My heart is beating so fast. What if it's about the tattoo? If it's about the tattoos, then that's still very crazy because we know where. But I'm pretty sure it's about the lockets. I'm pretty sure it's about the lockets. It would be crazy if it was about the tattoos because they need to get down for Zoe to see that tattoo. What if it's. I think it's lockets, y'all. So do. Please let it be the lockets. Side of her thigh. Tattoos where no one else but each. Because they're crazy. They're crazy. So Mira's tattoo is the letter R, and it's on the inside of her thigh, and Rumi's tattoo is on like Mira's shoulder or collarbone. Okay, let's look at the art. Yippee! Let's. Here's this really funny but gorgeous art. Let's see. I can't believe this is how the next chapter will go. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I saw this one. This is very silly. Oh Mira, I'm so sorry for how I've hurt you in the past. I've missed you all this time. I've never stopped loving you. If you're willing to give me another chance, I promise better and show my growth as a person. Oh, Rumi, I never stopped loving you either. I also made mistakes, and I'm sorry for the ways I hurt you too. I'm willing to give us another shot to work on building this relationship again. Yay! Now let's stop Zoe! It's so good. Hop on Fortnite with us. Yeah, this is really cute. I saw this one. That one's really cute. Um oh, here. Straw page. Straw page arc. Oh, I think I might have seen this. To the person who drew this, I love you and Hangul is now canon ID gap. Drink pilk. Where do I buy pilk? How to impress your crush? Why did my wife leave me? How to get over a divorce? Good locket cleaners. Oh my god. Incredible. Cuter art of the girls. This is so sweet. One day, Zoe making Rumi and Mira wear a "This is our get along" shirt, giant t-shirt. This is so cute. Cutie streamer Zoe. She is so cute. Good. 1.9 million is crazy. So cute. Zomira meeting at the start. Mira, I missed you. Hey Zumi, I missed you too. Oh, so fucking cute. So cute. Sexy Zoe with the photo cards at the end. I know that's right. Oh, nice. Nice. Real nice. I'm so normal about it. Yeah, that's great. She makes me want to hurt people. That's so good. Yeah, if the girls saw this, I understand why they'd be feeling like that. Uh, plus Zorumi rage baiting Mira. Rage baited Mira is the cutest Mira. Let's rage bait her some more. You like me for cutie pies. I silly images that Jamie makes. They're so cute. So fucking cute. Anyways, yeah, that's all the art. That is all the art. Okay. So, do we listen to Taeyeon or do we listen to Tears by Sabrina Carpenter? I think I'm gonna play Tears after what just happened. So, how do we think Mira's secret about remembering Zoe will come out? Artie, thank you for reading to us. Of course. I'm gonna do Tears, y'all. I think I'm gonna do Tears. I'm gonna leave a comment. Jamie, when I get you, Jamie. Jamie, when I get you, Jamie. I don't know if Jamie knows who I am on AO3, but I love leaving comments. I love leaving silly comments. Also, I feel I relate to Zoe so much. I'm also very neurodivergent. Real, real. Yeah. I had therapy. I had therapy today, and I was like rambling so much, and I was like, I'm sorry. I speak. I'm talking so much, and my therapist had to be like, face. It's okay. And I was like, I don't know. It feels anyway. Gee, I sure hope no one ends up making out in that escape room. That'll be really fun. I think that'll be really fun. If I find the Zoe one, I'll tell you on Discord. You are on Discord, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna play Tears and then I'll get ready for bed. Because like I said, I have tech rehearsal tomorrow, which feels crazy. Mm. Wish me luck, chat. Wish me. I'm just worried because we have 2 days of tech. I'm doing Our Town, so it's a long show. I mean, it's like less than 2 hours, but like on my mind. No. I'm gonna do Tears, Cade. I know you love that song. I'm gonna do Tears because of the Sabrina Carpenter mention and like the last scene. I'm gonna do Tears, but I'll play that sometime. I'll play On My Mind sometime, but I'm gonna do Tears. Bye, YouTube. Bye, Tegan.